Hello students, welcome back to your own channel Vedantu NEET English. This is Baswaraj sir, your biology master teacher. Now students, today is the part 2 of the chapter Morphology of flowering plants, right? In the previous class, we started off with all the different types of modifications and everything. It could be the modification to the leaf, modification to the stem, modification to the root, done and dusted. Now, what we'll be doing in today's class? Now here we'll be starting off with something called as inflorescence. Then we will go to the flower section. In the flower, we will explore something called as symmetry and what is the flower. After we do symmetry, we'll be doing something called as classification of flower based on the position of ovary. Hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. Same story, different day. Okay. After that, we'll be doing something called as tetramerous, androecium, gynoecium, calyx, corolla, estivation, placentation. Right, estivation as well as placentation. Then finally, towards the end of today's day, almost near the dinner time, we'll be studying something called as fruit and seed. So students, that is what is going to be in today's class. I hope you're excited for today's class because this section, right students, this section of your morphology of flowering plants, part 2, this is the part where all the questions will be asked from. Out of more than, when I say 4 questions from this chapter, 3 questions will definitely be from the lecture 2 and 1 question will be from the lecture 1. So this is the lecture 2, which you can expect around 3 questions minimum from this lecture, right? This lecture you can expect around 3 different questions. Hello, Diksha ma'am is here. Yes, Diksha sir is here, right? So you can expect around 3 questions from today's lecture. Students, also let me know if my sound is proper. Yes. Is my sound proper? Is my sound not proper? Should I increase my volume? Should I increase my volume a little bit or is it fine? Tell me. Should I increase my volume? I think this is the maximum it goes. Now students, check now. Is the volume perfectly all right or is the volume little shaky still? And all students, smash the not like button. Smash the attendance button, all of you. Smash the attendance button. We will start off with something called as inflorescence now. Inflorescence. Now students, quickly tell me in the chat, what is the meaning of inflorescence? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of inflorescence? Right, inflorescence. Now students, all of you will tell me, sir, inflorescence is nothing but arrangement of a flower. Right, arrangement of flower is nothing but inflorescence, you will tell me. Right, inflorescence is arrangement of flower. But let me explain with the help of a diagram. Let me explain the entire inflorescence with the help of a simple diagram. See this. Tell me students, this right here is the stem. Okay sir, this is a stem right here. On the stem, students, do we have the nodal regions? Yes sir, on the stem right here, we have the nodal regions. Node. This is a stem. This is a stem section. Stem. And we have node. This is a node. And between the two nodes, I will call this as internode. I will call this internode. Okay. Now students, tell me, at the nodal region, what do we have usually? Usually students, at the nodal region, we have a leaf. We have a leaf at the nodal region. We have a leaf at the nodal region. All of you know that? Yes? Should I increase the volume more? 1 second students, 1 second. Let me make a call. I have a person who can help me out with the increase in volume. Give me 1 nimsha. One minute students, 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm saying 1 minute. Lol. 1 second. Until then, volume थोड़ा increase करना था, नहीं हो पा रहा volume. Studio 4. Volume. They are telling, students are telling the volume is not sufficient. You're here only. Volume. The students are telling me, sir, please increase the volume. Please increase the volume. Please increase the volume. Yes. Sound check. You can't increase it more. Once. Oh. I think the battery would have worn out, no? Happens. Friends, even my battery is going down. Even I have to recharge now.
Student, but that laughter was not real. Huh?
I know. I can tell from the laugh only. Real laugh or fake laugh. 1 second, students. Let me change the battery. It's a cell. Cell battery is different, no?
Battery is
No, students.
Battery is big one.
Nothing. There is a difference between cell and battery. Cell is a single. When you add two, battery.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so because physics. What's the difference between a battery and a cell?
We commerce students know batteries.
No. I remember studying in class 12 physics. Battery and cell. One second, let me try.
Your nail will break. I told Javita.
Why is it so?
Last time I used a knife.
How will I bring a knife now?
wait, I'll break something else.
1 second, students. Tell me, what is the difference between a cell and a battery? Can anyone tell me? Cell and a battery. I think there's a physics term for it. I don't know. I should ask Shreyas sir, but 1 second. I'm trying to change this battery. Can you see this? I'm trying to change this, but Shriram. I think I'm gonna break my nail if I remove it too hard. One second, students. We will be right back.
I'm back.
Then pull that side and.
नहीं ये थ्रेड ना किसी ने लगाया था इसके द्वारा उसमें
ऐसा कुछ और नहीं है डांसिंग पर
नहीं don't exercise a lot now. इधर से नहीं इधर साइड से हाँ आराम से हल्दी now but to on
No, to on the mic. I've trimmed it, but is it on? I don't know. Sound check. It's on only actually. Sound check. Students, tell me in the chat if I'm properly audible now. Is it too loud now? It might be too. It may be too loud right now. Students, your phone. Tell me, students, is it properly now? Is it proper or is the volume still fluctuating or perfectly all right? Okay. So where were we? So we were discussing about the inflorescence. All of you know this is the stem right here. This is a stem right here. It has nodal regions and internodal region. Now at the nodal region, what do we have, students? At the nodal region, exactly. So this is the nodal region. We have a leaf. In this leaf axil, students, in the leaf axil, what do we have, students? In the leaf axil, we have a axillary bud. We have a axillary bud in the leaf axil, axillary bud. Now, students, when I was teaching you about, too loud, no, I can't do anything. So when I was teaching you yesterday's class, I told you about this axillary bud can develop into, something called as a branch or a flower. All of you remember, it can develop into a branch or a flower. So in this case right here, I am developing this particular axillary bud into a branch. Okay. Now tell me, students, this branch right here, this also will have something called as nodes and internodes. Yes, it will have nodes and internodes. This particular branch right here. But, understand now, understand. At the branch right now, at this particular node, we will see now development of, at this nodal region, we will see the development of flower. We will see the development of the flower at the nodal regions. Can you see here? We will see the development of flower at the nodal region. Development of flower. It looks like tomato here, but it is flower. Think it is a flower, not tomato. Okay, flower. So this particular structure, students, here, this particular branch is called as inflorescence axis. Inflorescence axis. Okay, inflorescence axis. Now, what is the definition now? The definition is very simple. Arrangement of flower on the peduncle. What is the meaning of peduncle? The meaning of peduncle and inflorescence axis is same to same. Arrangement of flower on the peduncle is called as dash. It is called as inflorescence. Do all of you understand now? So inflorescence usually happens as from a branch, and this particular structure is called as inflorescence axis, also called as peduncle, also called as, flowering axis, or whatever you call it. Okay, let's read the lines of NCERT. Okay, but what exactly is happening here at the nodal regions? Here at the nodal region, what do we have, students? At the nodal region, we have the flower. Flower is growing at the nodal region. What about the internode here? The internode is condensed. Internode is completely condensed here. So imagine this particular structure is there. At the nodal region, we have the flower, and the internode is getting completely condensed like that. It's getting completely condensed, and that is called as inflorescence. See here. First two lines are also very important. A flower is a modified shoot where the shoot apical meristem changes into floral meristem. Very important line. So here they are giving you a definition of flower also. A definition of flower says that the shoot apical meristem, SAM, shoot apical meristem is getting converted to, shoot apical meristem is modified to floral meristem. Very important line, students. PYQ. Floral meristem. SAM is getting converted to floral meristem. Okay. Now, what is happening here? The internode do not elongate. So what is the meaning of that? Internodes are getting completely condensed. Yes. And the axis gets condensed here. The apex produces different kinds of floral appendages laterally at successive nodes. See, at the nodal region, we can see the development of flower here instead of leaf. See, instead of leaf. So at the, where is it? At the nodal region, instead of leaf, we can see the development of flower. Internode is condensed and is shortened. Okay, shortened. When a shoot tip transforms into a flower, it is always solitary. Again, very important line. Very important line. That is, this is a shoot tip. This is a shoot tip. If shoot tip gets modified, it results in a solitary flower. One large tomato is coming. Large tomato is coming on top. Okay. Here, large tomato. Okay, that is called as your inflorescence. Now, the arrangement of flower on the floral axis. What is the floral axis here? The floral axis is right here. This is called as the floral axis, also called as the inflorescence axis, also called as the peduncle. All meaning is same. Peduncle, inflorescence axis as well as floral axis. Same meaning, same meaning. Okay. Now, termed as inflorescence. Depending upon whether the apex gets converted into a flower or continues to grow, two major types of inflorescence are there. Okay. Now understand, students, we have two types of inflorescence now. We have two types of inflorescence. One is called as racemose type of inflorescence. Other one is called as cymose type of inflorescence. Racemose and cymose. Racemose and cymose. Now, what is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of racemose? What is the meaning of cymose? Not which uncle, peduncle. Okay, your neighboring uncle. Peduncle, neighboring uncle, you're asking me. Okay, understand what is the meaning of racemose. Okay, if this is the starting branch, from this branch, the inflorescence axis, from the main branch, the inflorescence axis will continue to grow. Inflorescence axis will continue to grow. What is happening here? Main axis is continuously growing, not stopping. No one can stop it. Main axis is continuously growing. So can I tell it as unlimited growth? Can I call it unlimited growth here? Yes, I can call it unlimited growth. It is keep on growing. That is, this is the main axis, right? This is the main axis. In the case of racemose, it is in the race. It has to come first. Imagine racemose means race, and in the race, this particular main axis will continue to grow, never stopping. Okay, never stopping. It will keep on growing, unlimited growth. Okay. So main axis will continuously grow, unlimited growth. Now, how is the arrangement of petals here? Okay. How is the arrangement of entire flower only? Rather, if this is the main axis, it will continue to grow. On this main axis, all the young flowers will be on the top, and older flowers, looks like tomato, but okay, it's flower. This is a flower. Which flower? Older flower. Older flower will be at the bottom and young flower will be at the top. Young flower will be at the top. And this is called as racemose type of inflorescence. And very old flowers at the bottom, young flowers at the top. Such arrangement is called as what? It is called as acropetal succession. It is called as what? It is called as acropetal. Acropetal succession. Acropetal. Now, students, you might have observed this type of acropetal succession even in the case of your leaf. Remember, when the leaf was growing, leaves were growing, you always saw that when the shoot apical meristem is growing, we always notice older leaf at the bottom, younger leaf at the top. at the top. Younger leaf at the top. A same type of, this also is called as acropetal succession or acropetal arrangement. Young at the top and old at the bottom. The same acropetal succession is also seen in the case of your racemose. Okay, leaves also same thing is happening. Okay, now students, what about in the case of cymose? What about in the case of cymose? What is happening? Unlike your racemose, in the case of cymose, what is happening? In the case of cymose, this is the main axis. This is the main axis. In the case of racemose, the main axis is terminating with a flower. Main axis is terminating with a flower. Now you tell me, think logically, all of you. If I'm adding a flower here, will the main axis continue to grow or will it stop somewhere? It will stop somewhere. That is what is happening. The main axis terminates with a flower. Main axis terminates with a flower, stopping with a flower. So can I call it as limited growth? Yes. Limited growth. Done. Limited growth. And if you draw the diagram, we will have older flower at the top. Then we will have certain younger flowers. Younger flowers will be here. Even bottom, even younger flowers. Even younger flowers will be at the bottom. So older flower at the top, friends. Here what do we have here? Old flower at the top, young flower at the bottom. Basically the reverse. See, here we had, what did we have? Young flowers at the top, old flower at the bottom. Here what do we have? Old flowers at the top, young flowers at the bottom. And this is called as basipetal type of arrangement. Basipetal. Basipetal succession. Basipetal. Okay. Here we have acropetal, where young at the top, basipetal, older flowers at the top. Any doubt here, students? Any doubt here? Soni, Riz, Madhumita, all of you. Any doubt here? Ask me quickly. This is called as basipetal, this is acropetal. Main axis is continuously growing here. In this case, main axis is terminating with a flower. For example, if this terminates with a flower, then it is called as what? It is called as your cymose inflorescence. Beautiful. What is given in NCERT now? Depending on the in racemose type of inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow. The flower are born laterally on a acropetal succession. Young at the top, old at the bottom. In cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates with a flower. Hence, limited growth. In the case of cymose, limited growth. Okay. The flowers are born in basipetal order. What is basipetal? Older at the top, younger at the bottom. I'll show you diagrams here. See this diagram. Tell me, students, is this acropetal or is it basipetal? Is it cymose or is it racemose? Quickly go. Everyone in the chat. Is this cymose inflorescence or is it racemose inflorescence? Cymose or racemose? See, if you look here, young flower at the top, old flower at the bottom. So, can I call it as racemose inflorescence? Acropetal succession? Yes, acropetal succession. No. Cymose inflorescence terminating with a flower. Old flowers at the top, young flowers at the bottom. Young flower at the bottom, older flower at the top. Racemose inflorescence. Okay. Now, students, let's understand flower. Can we start? Can you start the flower now? That was just the introduction to today's class. Okay. Now, flower. Tell me, how many of you love flowers? Tell me. Now, when you're taking a walk in a park, for example, you're taking a walk in a park and you see a flower. What is the first thing which comes to your mind? Tell me. You're taking a walk in a park and you see one flower. What is the first thing comes to your mind? Okay, beautiful flower, nice color it has nice petals. Whom should I give this flower to? All that flowers will come, all that thoughts will come to your mind. Where, what to do with this flower, right? But have you ever thought what is the purpose of a flower? Like every single organ of a plant has a purpose. Stem holding, root absorption, leaf photosynthesis. What is the purpose of a flower? Flower is nothing but a reproductive unit. Flower is nothing but a reproductive unit. It is a reproductive unit. Reproductive unit. Now, if it is reproductive unit, where will it be useful? Where it be useful? It will be useful for the sexually reproducing flowers. Sexually reproducing flowers. Sexually reproducing flowers, it will be useful. Okay, sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. Now, students, now tell me, before I told you, I already mentioned shoot apical meristem gets converted to floral meristem in the case of your inflorescence. In the case of entire inflorescence, floral meristem. Remember this point, it is very important. It is a very important point. It is a very important point. Okay. Now, students, can we draw the flower? Can we draw one simple flower? Simple flower, not very complicated. We will draw one simple, cute flower. We'll draw. Okay. Here we have the basal region of a flower called as the thalamus region. This is the thalamus region. Okay. Thalamus region. Thalamus region. Thalamus region. It is the thalamus region. Okay. What about this? Can anyone tell me what is this? This is called as pedicel. It is called as pedicel. The stalk of the flower. Stalk of the flower. Pedicel. Okay. From here, we can see some form of leaf-like arrangement coming out. We can see some leaf type of arrangement coming out. Leaf-like structures. We can see some leaf-like structures coming out. Leaf-like structures coming out. Okay. Apart from that, we also have some colorful. We also have some colorful petal-like structure. Okay. Colorful petal-like structure. This right here is called as sepal. This is petal. All of you know this, basics, right? Basics. In this petal and sepal, it is the outermost wall. Then we have the second wall. Okay. Now, inner to the petal, we have the male reproductive structure called as androecium. Okay. We have the androecium here. The group is called as the androecium. This is a simple stamen. This is the anther. And this is the filament. Together they are called as what? Stamen. Together they are called as stamen. Okay. Now tell me, students, tell me what is the female reproductive unit called as? The female reproductive unit is called as gynoecium. But gynoecium has something called as pistil. It has something called as pistil. Can anyone in the chat tell me what are the three different parts of a pistil? All of you? The three different parts of a pistil. Anyone? We have the stigma, style, and the ovary. We have the sigma, style, and the ovary. Okay. This is the receptive stigma, long style, and this is the ovary. Now tell me students, how many of you know the difference between pistil and carpel? Tell me quickly, everyone in the chat. How many of you know the difference between pistil and carpel? And what is the meaning of gynoecium? What is the difference between gynoecium, pistil and carpel, ovary and ovule? What is the difference? Anyone? It may sound similar. You may think that pistil, carpel, and gynoecium and ovary, everything is same, but they are not. Quickly, everyone, who can tell me? I will tell you next 5 minutes, but I want to see how many of you try it. Okay, this is a typical flower. Typical flower. Here we have pedicel, that is the stalk of the flower, calyx, leaf-like structure, corolla or the petals, gynoecium and rhecium. 4 different whorls. This is the outermost whorl, second whorl, third and 4 different whorls of a flower. Okay. Calyx is carpel. Calyx is carpel and pistil is part of gynoecium. No. No. Anyone? Gynoecium is made up of carpels. Are you sure? Is gynoecium made up of carpels or is gynoecium made up of pistil? Very confusing, I know. Okay, tell me, I'll tell you. Listen to this very carefully, students. Listen to this very carefully. The difference of all of them. Very carefully, all of you listen. Okay. Gynoecium is called as the female reproductive unit. That is gynoecium. When many pistils come together, we get the gynoecium. So many pistils is making the entire gynoecium. Now you will ask me, sir, what is a pistil then? What is a pistil? Pistil is nothing but a structure which is made up of many carpels. Now you might ask me, sir, is it always the case? Understand. For example, this is my hand, right? This is my hand right now. For example, my entire hand can be a pistil. My entire hand can be a pistil. Now my hand has something called as fingers. Tell me yes or no. My hand has fingers. Hand will have fingers, right? Now what will happen is this pistil can have multiple carpels. Are you getting it? Are you getting it now? For example, my entire hand is called as a pistil. Like how my hand has multiple fingers, a hand has multiple fingers, a pistil will have multiple carpels. That's why it's called as multicarpillary or monocarpillary. Understanding? If all the fingers are joined together, it is called as syncarpus. All the carpels are fused. Now students, if I make all my fingers free, fingers are free. And I told you fingers are what? Fingers are called as carpels. So apocarpus, syncarpus, apocarpus. That is a beautiful concept which you need to take away. A pistil can have multiple carpels. A single pistil can have multiple carpels. And many pistils come together. When many pistils come together, that makes up the entire gynoecium. That makes up the gynoecium. I hope that concept is clear to all of you now. Don't mug it all this up, but understand. Okay. Apocarpus means what? Carpels are free. Carpels are free. Apocarpus. Syncarpus, all the carpels are fused. Monocarpillary means what? From this hand, I have only one finger. This entire hand, I have only one finger. Means a pistil will have only one carpel. Monocarpillary. Bicarpillary. Tricarpillary. 3 carpels. Multicarpillary. Multiple carpels from a single pistil. Okay. I hope that concept is clear to all of you. You can. This is a core botany topic slot. You will not learn this in anywhere. Usually people don't tell the difference between all this. Okay. Now students, understand. We learnt about 4 different whorls now. We learnt about 4 different whorls. We learnt about something called as calyx, corolla, andrecium and gynoecium. Up from these 4 different whorls, 2 are called as non-essential or axillary whorls. You might ask me, sir, why are they called as axillary or why are they called as non-essential? Why? Okay. They are called as non-essential because their role in reproduction is indirect. They have a calyx and corolla have a indirect. They have a indirect role in reproduction. Indirect role in reproduction. Indirect role. There is no direct role here. They have an indirect role in reproduction. Now, whereas your andrecium and gynoecium, they are called as essential whorls because they have a direct role. They have a direct role in reproduction. In reproduction. Direct role. Okay, direct role in reproduction. Now you might ask me, sir, there is something called as incomplete flower, complete flower. What is the difference again? Very simple, students. A complete means what? Complete means everything is present. For example, if calyx, corolla, andrecium, gynoecium, calyx, corolla, andrecium, gynoecium, if all the four whorls are present, that is called as a complete flower. Complete flower. If any one of the whorl is also missing, if any one of the whorls is missing, that is called as incomplete flower. I hope that is clear to all of you. I hope that is clear to all of you. Complete and incomplete. Okay. Now, students, understand one more concept. Understand one more concept here. A flower has two different andrecium and gynoecium are separate, right? If both are present in one flower, if both are present in one flower, it is called as bisexual flower. Bisexual flower. If both are present is called as bisexual. Now, what will happen if only andrecium is there or only gynoecium is there? Then it is called as unisexual flower. If only andrecium is there and gynoecium is absent, then it is called as unisexual. Unisexual. If only andrecium is there, unisexual, or if only gynoecium is there, that also is called as unisexual. Students, all of these concepts are very intricate. Any doubt anywhere, quickly ask me. All of you understood? All of you understood now? See here. A flower is a reproductive unit. We learned that. Reproductive unit in the angiosperms. Now, students, tell me, it writes angiosperms. Why not gymnosperms also? Can anyone tell me why not in the case of gymnosperms also? Anyone? You will tell me, sir, because gymnosperms do not have flowers. Very good. Gymnosperms do not have flower. It is meant for sexual reproduction. A typical flower has how many whorls? 4 different whorls. 4 different whorls. Okay. Now, arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or the pedicel. So, stalk of a flower is called as what? A stalk of a flower is called as pedicel. Now, you might ask me, sir, then what is a peduncle? That term peduncle. Peduncle is called as the stalk of the inflorescence. Now, then you ask me, sir, what is petiole then? What is petiole? Petiole is called as the stalk of a leaf. So, please remember the difference. Petiole, peduncle, pedicel. All of you will remember, right? Don't get confused. Petiole is the stalk of the leaf. Pedicel is the stalk of a flower. Peduncle is the stalk, that uncle. Peduncle is the stalk of the inflorescence. Okay. Called thalamus or receptacle. Thalamus or receptacle is the swollen part. If you notice here, students, if you go back here, oh, where did it go? Can you see here? This is the swollen part, and this is called as your thalamus, or the receptacle. Thalamus or receptacle. Okay. Now, what are the 4 whorls? Calyx, outermost whorl, corolla, and andrecium and gynoecium. Calyx and corolla are called as accessory organs. Why? Because their role is indirect role in reproduction. While andrecium and gynoecium are called as reproductive organs. Direct role. In some flowers like lily, the reproductive organs, in some case of lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and are termed as perianth. The students understand? something called as perianth and something called as tepal. Okay, here NCERT is mixing up the two words. My students, you need to understand. When calyx and corolla, sepal and petal, when sepal and petal, when sepal plus petal will give you tepal, group of tepal, that is called as perianth. Okay, that is called as perianth. A group of a tepal is called as perianth. Clear, all of you? Clear? Now, when a flower has both the androecium and gynoecium, it is called as bisexual. That is, androecium, gynoecium both are present, that is called as bisexual. If any one of them is present, it is called as unisexual. Okay, one second, students. Now, next thing we'll talk about is symmetry. Symmetry of a flower. The meaning of symmetry is very simple, students. For example, if I take this remote, and if I cut it into half, I will get two equal halves. If I cut the remote like this, then also I'll get two equal halves. Right? That is called as symmetry. Now, symmetry is little different in the case of flower, because some flowers can be easily divided into two equal halves. See the example here. Students. Here, if I see this flower, I can equally divide it into two equal halves in any plane. I can cut it like this. I will get one half, one more half. What if I cut it diagonally? Then also I'll get one half, one more half. One more diagonal cut, one more half, and one more half. Such a flower is called as actinomorphic flower. Such a flower is called as what? Actinomorphic flower. That is actinomorphic flower. What is actinomorphic flower? Actinomorphic flower is nothing but if a flower is divided. If a flower is divided into two equal half in any radial plane, then it is called as actinomorphic flower. Right? See here, example. You can cut this like this way. Any plane you can take it and cut it. That is called as actinomorphic flower. It can be divided into two equal halves in any radial plane. Okay. Now, how will they ask the question? Question is very simple, students. Question will be asked in the form of examples. That is the beauty of this chapter. Every single time, they will always ask you, they'll give you multiple options, and any one of them will be correct, saying that which is the example. For example, here, in the case of actinomorphic flower, we have datura, mustard and chili. Datura, mustard and chili. Now, how will you remember this, students? How will you remember this? How many of you like McDonald's? Raise your hands. McDonald's, KFC and all. The trick here is very simple, students. That is MCD. McDonald's. Okay. M for mustard, C for chili, D for datura. Okay. Mustard, chili and datura. Beautiful. That is actinomorphic flower. Now, students, look at this flower right now. Tell me, how many different planes can you cut it? I can cut the flower in this plane, I'll get two equal half. But if I try to cut this flower in this plane, what will happen? this petal will be smaller, this side is smaller, this side is much more bigger, right? So in that case, I cannot cut into two equal half. I cannot cut it into two equal half. So such a flower, students, such a flower is called as zygomorphic flower. Such a flower is called as zygomorphic flower. Zygomorphic flower. What is zygomorphic flower, students? Zygomorphic flower is flower if a flower is divided into two equal half in only one vertical plane, then it is called as zygomorphic. Can you see here? It is divided into two equal half only on one vertical plane. That is called as zygomorphic. Now you might wonder what are the examples here. Again, examples are the most important in this chapter. The example is going to be your pea, bean, gulmohar and cassia, right? Pea, bean, gulmohar, and cassia. Okay. Now look at this flower, students. All of you look at this flower. Tell me, how many planes can you divide this into? Can you divide like this? Are you able to divide like this? No. One will be smaller, other two will be larger. Can you divide like this? Here we have different types, other side we have different type. Can you divide like this? No, not possible. So such a flower, students, such a flower which you cannot divide at all. Such a flower which you cannot divide at all in any plane, that is called as your asymmetrical flower. Asymmetrical flower which you cannot divide in any plane. Let me show you a direct image. Let me show you an image. Look at this flower. Look at this flower right here, students. Look at this flower. Can you divide this flower in any plane? It looks so weird that you cannot divide in any plane. You cannot divide in any plane. And the name of this flower, the name of this flower is 𝐂𝐤. It's called as 𝐂𝐤, which shows asymmetric flower. Asymmetric flower is 𝐂𝐤. Okay, asymmetric flower is 𝐂𝐤. Okay, 𝐂𝐤 is an example of asymmetry. Done. Here, students, what is given in NCERT? In symmetry, the flower may be actinomorphic, also called as radial symmetry. Yes, radial symmetry because it can be divided in any radial plane. Okay. Or zygomorphic, bilateral symmetry. It can be divided into two equal half in only one plane. When a flower can be divided into two equal halves in any radial plane passing through the center, it is called as actinomorphic. Example, mustard, datura and chili. Mustard, datura and chili. When it can be divided into two equal halves in only one particular vertical plane, it is called as zygomorphic. Pea, bean, cassia and gulmohar, as well as gulmohar. Now, a flower is asymmetric or irregular if it cannot be divided into two similar halves in two equal halves in any vertical plane. It is called as asymmetrical. Cannot be divided into two equal halves in any plane, that is called as asymmetrical. Tell me, was it difficult to understand? Was it difficult to understand? Obviously not. It's very easy to understand. That is called as asymmetrical. Actinomorphic, zygomorphic, as well as asymmetrical. See the examples here? Here are the examples. Examples are missing. Here. Here, students. This is the examples of actinomorphic. Mustard, datura and chili. Then we have zygomorphic, which can be divided in only one plane. For example, pea flower, it can be divided like this, 2 equal half. Cassia can be divided something like this, in only one plane. Same goes for gulmohar, same goes for bean flower. Asymmetrical is canna. Okay. Now you will understand something called as a Meares condition. Meares. There is something called as a flower may be trimeres, tetrameres or pentameres. The meaning of meres is the number of foliage or number of petals or sepals. For example, if you look at here, it is called as trimeres condition. Why? Because it has 3 different petals. This is called as tetrameres. Why? Because 4 different petals. This one is called as your pentameres. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 different petals. That is why it is called as pentameres condition. 5 different types of petals, 5 number of petals. Okay. Now, a flower with bract. Now you might ask me, sir, what is bract, sir? What is bract? Just below the students, if this is the flower is arising until this is the thalamus. Here we have sepals, here we have petals, here we have the androecium or the stamen here, stamen is here, and we have the gynoecium here, and this is the flower. At the base of the flower, here we can have certain leaf-like structure. This is called as what? Bract. This is called as your bract. Now students, how many of you like brinjal? That is called as a bract. Okay. Now you might ask me, sir, what is the function of a bract? Like, why is the bract even present? Why is the bract even present? You might ask me, sir. The reason is that when the flower is in the bud stage, when the flower is in the bud stage, that is, protection is done by bract. A bract will completely cover the young flower when it is in the bud stage. And also the same bract, if it is leaf-like structure, it can also do what? Photosynthesis. It can do photosynthesis. And remember students, if the bract is present, it is called as bracteolate. If the bract is absent, it is called as ebracteolate. E for absent. Ebracteolate means without the bract. If the bract is present, it is called as bracteolate. Clear? Clear, students? Now you might be wondering, sir, why did I talk about brinjal? Students, in the brinjal, have you noticed that even when you pluck the brinjal fruit, it is a fruit, not a vegetable. When you pluck the brinjal fruit, it will still have sepals. Have you noticed that? It will still have the sepals with it. Because every single time a fruit formation happens, usually all the petals, sepals, everything falls off. But not in the case of brinjal. In the case of brinjal, the sepal will keep on remaining, and that is called as persistent calyx. It's called as persistent calyx. Okay. In the case of brinjal. Now students, can we start with something called as hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous flower? Can we start? Let me drink some water. All of you also drink some water. Yes, in case of tomato also. Can we start, students, now? Can we start? Persistent calyx. It's very persistent basically. It is like, I am not going to go, I am going to stay even after the fruit formation. Okay. Clear? Now students, can we start with something called as now epigynous, perigynous and hypogynous. Can we start? It's very simple again, students. This chapter, let me tell you, students, this chapter, the entire chapter is actually very easy. The entire chapter is actually very easy. Here and there, some examples will get confused. For example, I will ask all of you a simple question now. Tell me the example of actinomorphic. Go. I'll give you 5 seconds. Quickly go and tell me what is the example of actinomorphic. Time starts now. All of you tell me. I will keep on testing you today. Full class I will test you. Examples. Give me the examples of actinomorphic. Quickly. Actinomorphic examples. Remember MCD, mustard, datura and chili are the examples of actinomorphic. Tell me, students, now again quickly. What are the examples of asymmetrical? What are the examples of asymmetry? Quickly go. So you will tell me, sir, Kana. Kana is the example of asymmetry. Now similarly, students, now we will understand something called as different types of flower. Different types of flower based on the position of the ovary. Based on the position of the ovary. Here. Based on the position of calyx, corolla and androecium in respect of the ovary on the thalamus, flowers are described as hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous. So in all the three cases, the position of the ovary will change, and the position of the ovary is changing, the entire other worlds are also changing. For example, if you look at the hypogynous, ovary, the ovary is situated on the top. Can you see here? Ovary is on the top of the world. Ovary is top of the world. And if you look at the other worlds, for example, sepals, petal or androecium or the stamen, petal and sepal, everything is below the ovary. Everything is below the ovary. Can you see here? Everything is below the ovary. It could be your sepal, petal or as well as stamen. Everything is below the ovary, and the ovary is in the top here, and ovary is in the highest position, I can say. Gynoecium occupies the highest position. Calyx, corolla and androecium are situated below the gynoecium. So all the other worlds are below the gynoecium. Ovary is said to be superior here. Since ovary is in the top, such a type of ovary is called as superior ovary. It is called as what? Superior ovary. And representation is done how? If this is the chair, ovary will be on the top of the chair. Ovary is in the top of the chair. Okay, that is called as hypogynous condition. It is called as what? Hypogynous condition. Now you'll ask me, sir, this is very easy. Sir, this is very easy to understand. Why is it so difficult to solve the questions of hypogynous? Because what actually comes in your exam is, they don't usually ask this. What they ask is the diagram, and they also ask you the examples. For hypogynous. Can anyone tell me, one second, let me tell my list. Can anyone tell me the examples of hypogynous now? I'll tell you a small trick, then we'll go further. The small trick is very simple. The small trick here is, hero must have brinjal. The hero must have brinjal. Okay, hero must have brinjal. H in the hero stands for hypogynous. H stands for hypogynous. M stands for, can anyone tell me what does M stands for? Mustard. M stands for mustard. H stands for hibiscus. And brinjal stands for brinjal. The hero must have brinjal. Must is mustard, hibiscus and brinjal, as well as brinjal. Clear? Clear, students? So this is called as hypogynous condition. This is called as hypogynous condition. Clear? So gynecium occupies the highest position. All the other whorls are coming from below it, and ovary is on the top. That is why it is called as superior ovary. It is called as what? Superior ovary. Now students, second one you see. In the example, see, mustard, hibiscus, also called as China rose, and brinjal flower. Superior ovary. Now students, what is perigynous? What is the perigynous now? Perigynous. If you look at the diagram, can you tell me? Just look at the diagram and tell. Isn't the position of the ovary and the position of all the other whorls, it could be sepal, corolla, petal or androecium, is all of them at the same level? Tell me. Is everyone at the same level? It could be your ovary, stamen, petal and sepal. Everything is at the same level. See, in the case of your hypogynous, ovary was on the top. All the other whorls were from below. It's coming from below it. But in the case of your perigynous, the ovary is in the center, and all the other whorls are at the equal distance or are present equally. They present equally. See here, gynecium is situated at the center. Gynecium is present at the center. Ovary at the center. Calyx, corolla, and androecium are located at the rim of the thalamus. This is called as thalamus. This is called as rim. Rim means ending of thalamus. Can you see here? This is called as end of thalamus. End of thalamus. Also called as your rim. In this end rim of the thalamus, you can see all the other organs coming out, all the whorls coming out. You can see sepals, petals and stamen. Everything is present at the rim of the thalamus. Okay. And since everything is in the same level, ovary is not superior anymore. Ovary is half inferior now. It is half inferior. And it is represented by why? It is represented by this gynecium. Chair is at the same level. Okay. Now what is the trick here? Students? The trick here is very simple. People pluck pink roses. People pluck pink roses. People pluck pink roses. The P stands for perigynous. 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 Now, plum, peaches and roses. People pluck pink roses. People pluck pink roses. So, plum, peach and rose. Plum, peach and rose. Mix roast, unfortunately I cannot read only. It's very difficult for me to read. Sir, exam में question आया the stinging cells का मैं उसका I can't read only. What is the problem? I can't read. That's the problem with. See, it's very difficult to read Hindi. Very difficult to read in Hindi. Okay. Is this clear, students? Perigynous condition. Perigynous condition, what is happening? Ovary is in the center, first point. Ovary is in the center. Second point is that all the different whorls, sepals, petal and stamen are arising from the rim of the thalamus, and ovary is inferior here. Ovary is half inferior, sorry. Ovary is half inferior, and the example is people pluck pink roses. People pluck pink roses. Perigynous, plum, peaches and roses. How many of plum flowers? So plum flowers looks really beautiful. Now, next one is epigynous condition. Epigynous condition is a little sad, okay? Very, very sad it is. Look at the ovary. What is happening in the ovary? in the case of epigynous, the ovary is completely covered by the thalamus. You can see here, the ovary is almost on the inside. Ovary is almost on the inside. The entire thalamus is completely covering the ovary. And all the other whorls are on the top. You can see sepals, petals, andrecium. That is the stamen. Everything is on the top. Everything is on the top. Papa, the ovary is somewhere in the inside now, gone. Ovary has been completely covered by the thalamus. Calyx, corolla and andrecium are above the ovary. Ovary is said to be completely inferior here now. Very poor. Sad it is. Sad Max Pro this is. Okay. And represented by the symbol. What is the symbol here? Gynoecium. On the top we have the chair. Gynoecium, we have the chair on top. Okay. Now what's the trick here? Epic Sunny tell me the students, tell me the answer. Epic Sunny goes camping. E for epigynous. E for epigynous. S for sunflower. That is mostly the ray florets. The ray florets. G is guava. And C. Can anyone tell me what is the last C here? Cucumber, exactly. Is the cucumber. Is nothing but the cucumber. So, Epic Sunny goes camping. Done, students? Any doubt in the following? Guava, sunflower and cucumber. Can you see here? Can you see in this diagram? I think it's visible properly here. 1 second. Students, can you see this diagram here? If you look carefully here, the entire thalamus is completely covering the ovary. Entire thalamus completely covering the ovary, and all the floral appendages, sepals, petals, andrecium on the inside is completely on the top of it. On the top of it. Okay. This is the structure of your completely covering the ovary. Thalamus is completely covering the ovary here. Okay. Let's read the NCERT lines now. See diagram also, students, diagram also. In the question, there was a question this year, right? There was a question this year. The first one, can you see? The ovary is in the top, hypogynous. Ovary is in the center. All the other floral appendages, it could be your stamen, petal, sepal, from the rim of the thalamus. From the rim of the thalamus, everything is growing. In the case of your epigynous condition, the ovary is completely covered. The ovary is completely covered by the thalamus. It is completely covered by the thalamus here. Last one. Beautiful. Where are the NCERT lines? Here. Hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupies the highest position, right? And while the other parts situated below it, the ovary is said to be superior. Example is mustard, the China rose and brinjal. Right? Hero must have brinjal. Hero must have brinjal. China rose and hibiscus, all of you know same to same. Okay. If gynoecium is situated in the center and other floral parts of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus. All the floral parts are on the rim of the thalamus. Can you see? All the floral parts are on the rim of the thalamus. This is called as rim of thalamus, ending of thalamus. All the floral parts are at the rim of the thalamus. The margin of the thalamus, okay, thalamus almost at the same level, it is called as perigynous. The ovary is there is said to be half inferior. Half inferior. Example is what? People pluck pink roses, plum, rose and peaches. All of you know. Epigynous condition. What is happening? The thalamus is completely engulfing the ovary. Yes. the margins of the margin of thalamus grows upwards and enclosing the ovary completely. Thalamus is growing and completely covering the ovary and getting fused with it. The other part of the flower arise above the ovary. Diagram, all of you remember? All the other parts are above the ovary. Can you see here? All the other parts are at the top of the ovary. This is ovary. All other parts, sepals, petal, and rhecium, everything is above the ovary. Everything above the ovary. That is called as ovary is half inferior, said to be inferior here. Example is going to be 𝐂𝐡𝐞𝐤 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐲𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐭𝐬. That is nothing but sunflower, guava, and cucumber. I hope this is making it very easy for all of you. Making it easy for all of you. And students, let me tell you, this is a chapter which even I have a lot of tricks. Usually I don't keep a lot of tricks for everything, but this is a chapter which requires trick. Unless you have a trick for all of this, right, it becomes very difficult to learn all of the following examples. All of you agree with me? And if you are my student from last year also, by now at least you must know all the tricks which I use, right? And I don't change my tricks. See, I made these tricks long back and I'm sticking on to it because I know it is very easy for me to follow. It is easy for all of you to also follow, right? So please write down the tricks in a separate sheet and look at it every single day. Okay, look at the tricks every single day. If you don't revise the tricks, like how you revise all the formulas, revise the tricks also. Unless you don't do that, trick will become tricky in the exam. Okay, now solve the question, all of you. Time starts now. Quickly, I'll give you 20 seconds to answer this question. 20 seconds, that's all. 20 seconds. Time starts now. Quickly go. Given below are two statements, one labeled assertion, other labeled as reason. Obviously, a flower is defined as a modified shoot. A flower is defined as a modified shoot, where shoot apical meristem SAM is changes to floral meristem. Internode of the shoot gets condensed. I told you the shoot gets completely condensed to produce different floral appendages laterally at successive node instead of leaf. So at the nodal region, now you have flower instead of a leaf. They're basically talking about inflorescence here, inflorescence. Absolutely. Option number 2. This is a NEET 2024 question. Identify the type of leaf based on the position of the calyx, corolla, and androecium with respect to the ovary from the given philo. Students, can you see here? Ovary is in the center. All the floral appendages are arising from the rim of thalamus. This is called as rim. Your petal, sepal, and stamen. Everything is arising from the rim. What is the answer now? Tell me. What is the answer? Both of them are same to same. Yes, both are same to same. So can I tell perigynous and perigynous? Perigynous and perigynous. Students, trust me. In examination, what happens is, even such easy questions become difficult for you. I'll tell you why. Because that time you will try to imagine the diagram of NCERT, not the definition of NCERT. Now all the students who wrote examination last year, this year, that is NEET 2024, when you saw this question, the first thing which came to your mind was you try to imagine the diagram, didn't you? You try to imagine the diagram in your NCERT and try to find the answer. But what you should have done? What you should have done is remember the definition of the diagrams. If this was epigynous, what should have been thought? If this was epigynous, you should have been thinking thalamus is completely covering the ovary. But here, thalamus is not completely covering the ovary, so it cannot be epigynous. What is the definition of hypogynous? Ovary is in the top. All the other floral appendages are below it. But is it true here? I can see calyx, corolla, and androecium above the ovary. So it is not superior, right? So when you get such diagrams, right, I would advise you to remember the definition of a diagram rather than trying to imagine the diagram itself. Okay? I hope this is clear to all of you what I'm trying to say, or everything is going above your head. Try to imagine. So this is what you should be doing next time onwards. When you get a diagram based question, always try to remember the definition which defined the diagram, not just the diagram in the examination. And your answers will be clear at that time. See this question, which of the following is an example of actinomorphic? Actinomorphic. Clue is MCD. Clue is MCD, students. MCD is the clue. Mustard, datura and chili. What is the answer now? Tell me. Half of the things would be like from here one is coming, from here it is going out. I am very sure. It is going and coming out. What is the answer now? Which of the following is an example of actinomorphic flower? Option number D, MCD. This also is a question from NEET 2024. So in examination, when you think of such questions, right, actinomorphic, MCD should come to your mind directly. MCD should come to your mind directly, actinomorphic, right? Mustard, datura, chili. Okay, this is the extra question. I will teach you this later on. We'll come to this question later on. I don't know why this question came suddenly here. Why estimation questions are coming here? We'll come back to this later on. See this question, students. Try this question now. The flower are zygomorphic in. The flower are zygomorphic in. See, all of you remember the flower, zygomorphic. Remember definition first. Remember definition. Zygomorphic tells you that a particular flower can be divided into two equal halves in only one plane, vertical plane. Then you remember the examples: pea, bean, gulmohar and cassia. Pea, bean, gulmohar and cassia. Now think, cassia is there, cassia is there. Gulmohar is there, gulmohar is there. Datura, chili and mustard, all three are actinomorphic. Question is asking you, zygomorphic. What is the answer? Gulmohar and cassia. So do you see B and C anywhere? B and C only. Did you get it? So that's how you approach a question. That's how you approach a question. Students. So with that, your first part of the lecture is over. First part of the lecture is over. Now we'll go towards the calyx. Ready? Ready for calyx now? Yes. Now students, tell me, what is the color of a calyx? Quickly go in the chat. Sahana, I know, I understood the answer. Calm down. Understood. What is the calyx, students? Calyx, which color is it? Usually the calyx is green in color. Green in color. And every single time when I talk about the whorls, like in the class, you have roll number, no? You have roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similarly, in the whorls also we have roll number. The outermost whorl is called as calyx. Outermost whorl is called as calyx. Then we have corolla, then andrecium, and then gynoecium. Always. When you write, also write the same way. First you write calyx, then corolla, and then andrecium, and the fourth one is gynoecium. Please always remember the flow. It's always that. Roll number 21, no? Lie, always lie. Tell me your actual roll number. Okay. And students, I will give you a roll number in my class also from today onwards. I will think and I will give you a roll number in my class. Okay. The calyx is the outermost whorl. All of you know that. Very simple. Doesn't need explanation here. Flower and members are called as sepals. Members are called as sepals. For example, look here. We'll see. We'll learn from the diagram. See here. If this is the entire flower, this green color part, can you see here? Green color part, this is called as a sepal. All the sepals together is called as what? It is called as calyx. Now students, can you see here? The sepals are free here, but here the sepals are fused. Can you see, students? If you look closely here, the sepals are completely fused here. But in this case, all the sepals are completely free. Okay, all the sepals are completely free here. When the sepals are completely free, it is called as polysepalous. Now, if you look here at this particular calyx right here, can you see it is like almost you add some Fevikwik you added and you completely joined it. Or if you add something called as gum, or glue. So how you can remember it is G for gum, G for glue, G for gamosepalous. Repeat after me. G for gum, G for glue, and G for gamosepalous. So in gamosepalous, all the sepals are fused. G for gum, G for glue, or G for gamosepalous. Every single sepal is completely fused. Opposite is what? Opposite is going to be polysepalous. All the sepals are completely free. Generally, they are green color. Generally, they are green color. Generally, they are green color. Leaf-like and protect the flower in the bud stage. Calyx, same like bract. The calyx may be gamo and poly. Gamo means fused, poly means free. Now, students, the most beautiful part of the G for Gopika ma'am. Okay. The most beautiful part of a flower is actually the petal. All of you agree with me? The most beautiful part of a flower is the petal. The more colorful the petal is, the more beautiful a flower looks like. The more beautiful the flower is, more pollinators will come and attract it. So the main function of a petal is to attract the pollinators. Full cunning, no? Full cunning. So full cunning is our flower. Flower also knows that it looks good. Flower also knows it looks good only when it is colorful. Only when it is colorful and it is smelling nice. So what will flower do? Flower will become even more colorful. It will wear some nice jacket and it will attract all the insects. Okay. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored. See, brightly colored to attract the insects. Like how you want to wear nice color, nice jacket, nice the t-shirt, one nice one top, nice shoes, nice chain, watches, rings and everything. Flower also has the same mindset only. Flower also has same mindset. Plant also has same mindset. So it is attracting pollinators. Okay. Attract the pollinators. Now here also, students, can you see here? If you can see here, all of these petals are completely free, right? All of these petals are completely free. So in the case of your sepal, polysepalous means what? Free sepal. Now this is called as polypetalous. It is called as what? Polypetalous. All the petals are free. Now if you look here, look at this one, Papa. Doesn't it look like I took a gum and I completely attached all the petals? So can I call this as gamopetalous? Gamopetalous. All the petals are completely joined here. So gamopetalous. So gamo and poly. Okay. Like how. So these petals also have nice smell. You might have smelled jasmine, right? When you smell jasmine, such a beautiful fragrance it has, jasmine, right? When you smell rose also has some distinctive smell. Rose petal smell. Why are they doing? Why are they putting perfume? Why are they making their own perfume? To attract more insects. Now students, what will happen if a flower starts to smell really bad? Tell me what will happen, students. Tell me, what will happen if the flower is smelling really bad? Okay, guess what can happen? For example, imagine a flower is smelling like dead, rotten meat or dead, rotten organism. Tell me what will happen that time? Will any honeybee come? Tell me, will any honeybee come and sit on it? No. Will the butterflies come? No. But have you noticed, in this chicken shop and mutton shop, you have a lot of flies there. Similarly, students, in the case of certain flowers, for example, the biggest flower in the world, Rafflesia, the biggest flower in the world smells like rotten meat. A flower smells like rotten smell. Why? When the smell is rotten smell, the flies will come and sit. Complete opposite psychology. Normal flowers are smelling good to attract honeybees, to attract the butterflies. But there are some flowers which smell like rotten meat to attract the flies. And these flies can also do what? Flies can also do pollination. Okay. So it doesn't matter. For plant doesn't care. Unless pollination is happening, it doesn't care if it smells nice or smells bad. Either way, it needs pollinators. It can smell really good, it can smell really bad to attract the pollinators. Okay. I hope that is clear to all of you. Corolla. Okay. Like calyx, corolla may also be gamopetalous, fused. Gamo means fused, G for glue. Or polypetalous, petals are free. The shape and the color of the corolla, can also change. For example, corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped or wheel-shaped. See this. It can be tubular, funnel form, bell-shape or cartwheel shape. The shape of the corolla can also change. Shape of the corolla can also change based on the plants, based on the pollinators are available, based on the requirement. Okay. Now, till here any doubt, students? Till here any doubt? Till here any doubt, students? Any doubt till now? Because we will be starting off a new concept only now. We will be starting something called as estivation now. Can we start? Can we start now, students? Can we start with something called as estivation now? Estivation. Can we start, students? Can we start? Can we start, students, now? Yes, clear, nice. Okay. Now we will start something called as the estivation. Now, what is the meaning of estivation, students? What is the meaning of estivation? The meaning of estivation is very simple. Arrangement of petal or arrangement of sepal with respect to each other. In your class also, when you enter the class, do you have a designated bench? First bench, second bench, third bench? All of you have that, where you want to sit, or back bencher suddenly. Similarly, a petal can be arranged in a proper order. A petal or a sepal can be arranged in a proper order. The arrangement of petal or arrangement of sepal is called as estivation. It is called as estivation. The mode of arrangement of sepal or petal in floral bud with respect to the other member of the same whorl is known as estivation. That is, arrangement of petal with respect to other petal, arrangement of sepal with respect to other sepal, that is called as estivation. Now understand with the help of an animation. Look at the animation, all of you. Look at the animation. In this particular arrangement, did you see anywhere the petal or sepal? Is it overlapping anywhere? Tell me all of you in the chat. Do you see anywhere a petal or a sepal? This could be a petal or a sepal. Is it overlapping anywhere? Tell me. No. They are just touching the margins, barely touching the margins. Similarly, here also you can see they are not overlapping anywhere. They are barely just touching the margins. Yes, no overlapping. Such an arrangement, students, such an arrangement is called as valvate estivation. It is called as what? Valvate estivation. Everyone need to type valvate in the chat now. Quickly go. It is called as what? Valvate estivation. The trick is very simple again here. The trick is very simple. The trick here is valvate chair or velvet chair. Valvate chair. Valvate chair. Valvate chair. Now, what does C stands for? The C stands for calotropis. C stands for calotropis. Calotropis. So, the example of valvate estivation. The example of valvate estivation is calotropis. Okay, calotropis is the example of valvate estivation or valvate estivation. Any doubt here, students? Any doubt here? Valvate means all the margins are just touching each other. There is no overlapping. There is no overlapping. Valvate chair. Okay, calotropis is the example. Now tell me, students, what is the example of perigynous in the chat? Quickly go. Example of perigynous in the chat. Quickly. I will keep asking you today. Example of perigynous. People pluck pink roses. Perigynous. Here. This is called as calotropis valvate estivation. All the petals are just touching each other. Can you see here? All the petals are just touching each other, but there is no overlapping. There is no overlapping. Calotropis. Now next one is twisted. Next one is twisted. All of it twisted. Okay. Can you see? One petal is overlapped by other petal. Similarly, this petal is overlapping one more petal. This petal is overlapped by one more petal. They're in an alternating manner, or can I tell they're overlapping one another? Yes, it is overlapping on one another. All of you tell me. This is overlapping on this. This one is overlapping on the other one. This one is overlapping on the other one. Overlap, overlap, overlap. Such an arrangement where petal and sepal are overlapping on one another, that is called as twisted estivation. It's called as what? Twisted estivation. What is the trick here? The trick here is what? Lady from China has a twisted cotton. Lady from China has a twisted cotton. Twisted cotton. What is a lady? Lady stands for lady's finger. Lady's finger. F is nothing here. F is basically nothing. F is nothing but here from China. China is China rose. China rose. Yes. Twisted, and cotton is cotton. Cotton is cotton. Lady from China has a twisted cotton. I think we didn't miss anything, right? Lady's finger, China rose and cotton, right? And hibiscus also there? No, three are there. China rose, lady's finger and cotton. China rose, lady's finger and cotton. Did we miss any? Three are there, right? China rose, lady's finger and cotton. Clear? Lady from China has a twisted cotton. That is for the twisted estivation. Next one. China rose, lady's finger, cotton. Can you see? It is completely overlapping. I hope you can see this. Can you see the cotton one? It is completely overlapping. One is overlapping on the other one. It is overlapping on the other one. So all the petals are alternating manner and they are overlapping on one another. Every one of them is overlapping on one another. China rose, lady's finger and cotton. Okay. Next one is imbricate. Next one is imbricate estivation. Understand, very simple again. If you look at the imbricate estivation, one will be completely outside. Outside, inside. Outside, this one is completely outside. Here. If you look at imbricate estivation, this one is completely on the inside. One petal is completely inside. And one petal is completely outside. Completely outside. One petal is completely inside, one petal is completely outside. The other three, this one and this one, all the three are overlapping. The remaining three are overlapping on one another. Imbricate estimation. Understand? One petal is completely outside. One petal is completely on the inside. The remaining 1, 2, 3 are completely overlapping on one another. They are overlapping on one another. Such a condition is called as imbricate estivation. Can you see here? This one is completely outside. This one is alternating. This one is completely inside. This one is inside. This one is completely outside. Outside. Can you see here? Completely inside. This is overlapping, overlapping, overlapping. Okay, 1 second. Let me see that. Is it overlapping anywhere? Or this is overlapping. This also is overlapping. 1 second. Which one is completely inside? Find first. Oh, it is inside only, right? Overlapping on this one is inside. This angle is inside. It is on the inside only. This one is inside. Correct. Clear? Now, what is the trick here? What is the trick here, students? What is the trick here? For your imbricate estimation, imbricate, what do I say? Rhymes with advocate. Imbricate, advocate. Advocate fights gun cases. Advocate fights gun cases. See, students, I have made this. You can use your own, but this is what has worked for me. Advocate fights gun cases. Advocate fights gun cases. G for Gulmohar, C for Cassia. G for Gulmohar, C for Cassia. Gulmohar and Cassia. Students, can anyone tell me Gulmohar was the example in which of the following symmetry? Gulmohar and Cassia were an example on which symmetry? Actinomorphic, zygomorphic, or asymmetry? We can ask a question like that, right? The question can be which of the following flower is an example of actinomorphic as well as imbricate? A question can come as which of the following flower is an example of imbricate estivation as well as zygomorphic symmetry. Zygomorphic symmetry. That time what should be your answer? That time your answer should be Gulmohar and Cassia. Gulmohar and Cassia. Are you understanding? Such complicated questions can also come like multi-concept questions. Imbricate. Okay. Cassia and Gulmohar. Cassia and Gulmohar. This one is completely on the inside. One will be completely on the outside. Okay. Vexillary. Vexillary is very simple. Vexillary is very simple. Okay. Vexillary is very simple. Understand what happens in vexillary. You have one large flower, one large petal. One large petal. And the large petal is called a standard. Standard. The two wide petals, that is called as wing. And the one in the last one, that is called as keel. That is called as keel. Now here did we see one was the largest one, 1, plus 2 are the wings, plus 2 are the keel, but this keel is completely fused. The keel is completely fused. Such a type of estivation is called as vexillary estivation. Vexillary estivation. Vexillary estivation. Now here the question can be asked. I'll ask the question now, okay? Oh, it has not come out yet. How many of you know what is diadalphus? I cannot ask you till now, right? Okay, after I teach you diadalphus condition, then I'll ask you a question. Diadalphus, I'll ask you the question, okay? Right now we will understand the examples. Example is BP vaccine. BP vaccine. BP vaccine is the simple trick here. BP vaccine. BP vaccine. BP vaccine. Tell me what is the answer? What is the trick here? What is the trick? BP vaccine. How many of you remember from old classes? Bean, pea, and vexillary estivation. Now I'll ask you one more question, students. I'll ask you one more question, okay? which of the following flower has zygomorphic as well as vexillary estivation? What is the answer? Which of the following plant has zygomorphic as well as vexillary estivation? What is the answer? Tell me. What is the answer? Which of the following plant has or flower has zygomorphic as well as vexillary estivation as well as diadalphous condition? As well as diadalphous condition. See, vexillary estivation example all of you know is the bean. And all of you know in zygomorphic also, did we learn that? In zygomorphic we learned pea, bean, gulmohar and cassia. Pea, bean, gulmohar and cassia. Okay. So here we will have bean and pea. Here we have gulmohar and cassia. Gulmohar and cassia is imbricate. P and bean is vexillary. P and bean is vexillary. But if the question is asking even the diadalphous condition, that time it can change. Okay. P and bean. Students, are you understanding how the question can be asked? Sometimes the question won't be direct. They will mix two concepts. They'll mix two concepts and they'll make one more concept. Okay. Mr. Bean, Mr. P. This is your P and bean. Vexillary estivation. This is the large standard wing and keel on the inside. Standard wing and keel on the inside. Valvate, twisted, imbricate and vexillary. And with that it is over. Yes, clitoria is also vexillary. Now students, how many of you know you can take even the pea flower and make herbal tea from this? You can make herbal tea from this. You can make herbal tea. Take the pea flower and put it in some hot water and add some lemon in it. That becomes a herbal tea. That we can make a herbal tea out of it. Yeah, we can make a herbal tea out of it. Okay. Now, can we start andrecium now, students? Can we start andrecium now? Any doubt till now, students? Any doubt till now? First of all, quickly shoot your doubts. If there is no doubt, then we'll go to andrecium. Very simple again. Andrecium is very simple. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? No doubt? No doubt? Perfect. Now, students, let's see the andrecium. Now, students, I've told you before. What is the meaning of? We need a break. No, we'll do. After andrecium and gynoecium, we'll take a break. Don't worry. Okay. How many of you know the difference between andrecium and stamen? Go. What is the difference between andrecium and as well as stamen? Shoot. What is the difference? What is the difference between andrecium and stamen? You will tell me, sir. What is the difference? There is no difference? Or is there a difference between your andrecium and stamen? Friends, remember, andrecium is the reproductive unit, male reproductive unit. A collection of stamen is called as andrecium. When many stamens come together, that becomes a andrecium. Like how many pistils come together, that makes up the gynoecium. Many stamens come together and that makes up the andrecium. Remember that. Okay. Andrecium is composed of stamen. See, it is composed of stamen. Each stamen which represents the male reproductive organ consists of a stalk or the filament and an anther. You can see here. This is the complete filament and anther. Filament as well as your anther. Okay. Filament is the stalk. This is the anther. Now, if you look at the anther, it has something called as cavity here. Cavity. You will learn this in sexual reproduction of flowering plants called as sporangia. Yes, both are male. Okay. Basically, all the stamens are making one nice gang, and then the gang is called as andrecium. Stamens are making a gang, and the gang name is called as andrecium. Simple. Don't worry so much. Now, Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers. See, this is called as one lobe, bilobed condition, and each lobe has 2 chambers. Each lobe has 2 chambers. Okay, bilobed and 2 chambers. The pollen sacs. The pollen grain are produced in the pollen sac. Obviously, they are produced in the pollen sac. Microsporogenesis. Yes. A sterile stamen is called a staminode. If the particular flower does not have a stamen, it is called a staminode. If the stamen is missing, it's called a staminode. Basically, sterile one. Now I will teach you something called as I told you they're making a gang, right? I told you your stamen are making a gang. Stamens are making a gang, nice gang they're making. Now what happens is, students, do you only have one type of gang or do you have multiple gangs? In the classroom only, there is one first bench gang, last bench gang, middle bench gang, teacher's pet gang, one sports gang, right? So you have multiple different gangs within a classroom only, multiple different groups within a classroom only. Similarly, in the case of stamen, also, there are different types of groups. And when you try to broadly classify the groups, when you want to make the broad classification, the broad classification can be told as adhesion and cohesion. So what are the difference, sir? Learn for me today. Learn. One is called as adhesion. That becomes too confusing for you. I'll try. Don't try adhesion cohesion. Just learn simple words first of all. One is called as epipetalous condition. Epipetalous condition. Okay. What is epipetalous? Okay. In epipetalous condition, we have the stamen. Plus petal. They are making a group. Stamen plus petal, when they make a group, it is called as epipetalous condition. Epipetalous condition is called as stamen plus petal. For example, here we have petal is represented by C, corolla, right? Androecium is represented by A. They are forming a group. They are making a group here. Example is brinjal. Okay. Now, the other group is called as epiphyllous condition. What is happening in epiphyllous condition, students? In epiphyllous condition, stamen is making a group with your perianth. Or can I also call it as tepal? Okay, tepal. For example, perianth, androecium, they are making a group. Example is lily. Now, students, other one is called as polyandrous. What is happening in polyandrous, students? Polyandrous is very simple. Polyandrous is no group. All the stamen is completely free. Okay. Stamen is completely free. Oops. Next one is called as synandrous. What is happening in synandrous, students? This is polyandrous, epiphyllous, epipetalous. Understand what is happening in the case of your synandrous. In the case of synandrous, students, the entire stamen, when I say entire stamen, I mean the anther and filament. Anther and filament, everything is fused. Stamen plus anther. Entire stamen is fused. Entire stamen is fused. That is, anther and filament both are what? Both are completely fused here. Anther and filament both are completely fused. Synandrous. Synandrous. Okay. All of you understood? All of you understood? Next one. Syngenaceous. Next one is syngenaceous. Syngenous condition. Understand. What is happening in the case of syngenous condition? In the case of syngenaceous condition, students, all the anther is fused here. Only anther is fused. Only anther. Only anther is fused. Free filament. Free filament. Free filament. Filament is completely free. Okay. Filament is completely free. Only anther is fused and the filament is completely free here. Filament is completely free. What is Adolphus condition? What is Adolphus condition? In the case of Adolphus condition, the filaments are fused. Filaments are fused here. Filaments are fused. Anther is free. Anther is free here. Filament is fused. Now students, if all the filaments are fused into a single bundle, that is called as monoadolphous. If all the filaments are fused into two bundles, that is called as diadolphous. If all the filaments are fused into three bundles or many bundles, that is called as polyadolphous condition. All of you are getting it now? All of you are getting it? Adolphous means filaments are fused. Adolphous means filaments are fused. If all the filaments are fused into a single bundle, monoadolphous. If all the filaments are fused into two bundles, diadolphous. All the filaments are fused into more than two bundles, polyadolphous condition. Polyadolphous condition. See here. First of all, understood? Epipetalous means what? Epipetalous means stamen plus petal. Brinjal example, epipetalous. Epiphyllous condition, stamen plus perianth or petiple. Lily is the example. Polyandrous, stamen is free. Synandrous, stamen is fused. Complete stamen. Not just anther, complete stamen is fused. Syngenaceous, only anther is fused, filament is free. In the case of Adolphus condition, your anther is free, but filaments are fused. Filaments are fused here. In the case of Adolphus condition. If filaments are fused to a single bundle, monoadolphous, two bundles, diadolphous, many bundles, polyadolphous. See here, students. Brinjal. Epipetalous condition. Epipetalous. Petal is fused with the stamen. Petal is fused with this is the petal, right? This is the petal right here. Petal is fused with the stamen. In the case of lily, the entire perianth is fused with the tepal is fused with the stamen. This I'll teach you later. See here. Stamen is free, polyandrous. Polyandrous. What is adalphous? Monodalphous, diadalphous, 2 bundles. Polydalphous, many bundle. Polydalphous, many bundles. Example is very more important here. Monodalphous example is China rose. China rose. Diadalphous example is pea. Polydalphous example is citrus. Citrus is a polydalphous condition. Clear all of you? Polydalphous is citrus. Citrus is polyadalphous condition. Polyadalphous condition is citrus here. So that is the meaning of stamen is united, stamen is free. Let's read what is given here. A stamen of a flower may be united with other members of such as petal and among themselves. With other members is these two examples, students. This is the example of other member of different worlds. This is the example of within themselves. Within themselves. See here. Themselves. When stamen are attached to the petal, they are called as epipetalous condition. Example is brinjal. Epiphyllous when the attached to the perianth. Example is lily. Stamen in a flower may either remain free, that is called as polyandrous. Stamen is free here. Stamen is free, polyandrous, or may be united into a varying degree. The stamen may be united into one bunch or one bundle, that is called as monoadalphous, China rose, or 2 bundles, diadalphous, or into many bundles, that is called as polyadalphous in the case of citrus. Okay. Now last line you understand, this one you understand now. This one you understand. There may be variation in the length of this filament also. In the length of the filament. In case of salvia and mustard. What is this? What is this, students? What is this? Understand. Understand this one. Tetradynamus. I'll draw it first for you. You can just see something called as 2 for plus 4 arrangement. Here you will have four long filaments and 2 short filaments on the outside. You can see here, 2 are short, 4 are long. So this where we have 2 short on the outside, 4 long on the inside. Such a condition is called as tetradynamous condition. Tetradynamous condition. Now, this one you understand. 2 plus 2 arrangement. 2 plus 2 arrangement. Now here, we have 2 long filaments on the outside, 2 short filaments on the inside. 2 long are on the outside, 2 short on the inside. Such a condition is called as didynamous condition. It is called as what? Didynamous condition. Didynamous condition. Didynamous condition. 2 plus 4 arrangement. This is seen in the case of salvia. Salvia. This is seen in the case of mustard. This is seen in the case of mustard. Mustard and salvia. Mustard and salvia. Break. I'll give you a break now, don't worry. Okay. All of you understood? This is what they were telling you here. Salvia and mustard, variation in the length of the filament. Can you see here? Variation in the length of the filament. Short filament on the outside, long filament on the inside. Tetradynamous condition. Tetradynamous condition. See here. In the case of your didynamous condition, 2 are tall on the outside, 2 are small on the inside. That is called as didynamous condition. Okay. I hope all of you understood this. Simple concept. This is simple concept. Okay. We will solve the question, then we will take a break. Time starts now. Quickly go. See, tell me the answer. See, I have told you the answer here only. Monodilphus China rose, Diadilphus pea plant, Polydilphus citrus. Tell the answer now, students. Tell the answer. My water is also over. I have to go get my water. Monodilphus, Diadilphus, Polydilphus, epiphyllous condition. What is the answer? What is the answer now? Quickly tell me. Rasna also is in the chat now. Rasna. It's very difficult to pronounce her name. I don't know why. So we call her Rasna. See, monodilphus, what is the answer? Monodilphus we just now learned. Monodilphus we just now learned is the China rose. Here only. China rose. Diadilphus pea plant. Diadilphus is pea plant. Yes. Polydilphus is citrus. C is 1. Epiphyllous condition is your lily. If it was epipetalous, then it would have been different again. Start again. Polyadelphous condition is what? Filaments united into more than 2 bundles. Syncarpous condition. Syn means fused. Carpus. All of you know. Carpels. Carpels are fused. B is 4. Staminode. Sterile stamen. Epipetalous condition. Stamen attached to the petal. D is 3. A is 1. B is 4. C is 2. So what is the answer? Names are very difficult to pronounce. So we just call Rasna. I have different trusses. We have names for all of you also. Secretly, we have names for all of you. Very difficult to pronounce the names sometimes. Okay. Time starts now. Quickly go. NEET 2023 question. What is the answer? Quickly. Time starts now. In a pea plant, 5 petals are arranged in a specialized manner. That is 1 plus 2 plus 2 arrangement. Okay. With 1 posterior, 2 lateral and 2 interior. They are named as. You are supposed to tell me which is the posterior first, then 2 lateral and the 2 anterior on the inside. Whose names are difficult? See, names easy, we don't need nicknames. When names are very easy, we don't need nicknames. Sometimes names are so difficult, I can't tell only. Outer one is standard, wing and keel, right? Standard, wing and keel. Students, I was telling from that time, right? From that time I was telling you. Shows vexillary estivation and diadalphous condition. We just now learned diadalphous condition is pea plant. Vexillary estivation is also pea plant. So the common answer is Paisensotypum. So students, such questions can be asked. Such question can be asked really. So sometimes they can ask you which is the example of monodalphous. What should be your answer? Tell me. Monodalphous. Sometimes direct questions. Sometimes they can mix 2 things. Okay. Now we'll take a break. Clear? So I hope this is clear to you. Now we are coming towards the end of the chapter, and we probably have something called as gynoecium, then fruit, seed, and that's it. Okay. So now we'll take a break. I think what's the time? 8:30, right? 8:40, 50, 8:52 will come back. 8:52 will come back. Okay. Class resume mat. Class resume at 8:52 p.m. All of you quickly go run. Okay, quickly go run and eat something and come. Yeah. Sony Mohan. Yeah. Easy to tell. Right. Families not today. Families I want to do separate video. Right. So next week I will do families. Let's do families the next week, and let's finish it off one more time. Right. Families is very easy to do, and all the families have done it before. Right. I think we have done it before in the YouTube only. We have done it before a couple of times. The all the families. So I will be doing that also very soon. So quickly go run, eat something and come. I will also go eat something and come. I will see all of you exactly at 8:52. Once we come back, students. Once we come back, we will be doing something called as we'll be doing something called as your gynoecium, all the placentation, and then we'll be doing the fruit, and then we'll be doing the seed, and the class is dispersed after that. Class is dispersed after that. Okay. So I will see you exactly all of you at 8:52 p.m. Now, run all of you run. Yo, let's come back, students. Tell me in the chat if I'm audible and visible. Quickly tell me in the chat if I'm properly audible and visible to all of you. And we'll be starting off with the next part, that is gynoecium. Can we start, students? Let's start with the gynoecium, all the different parts, as well as different parts of gynoecium, and we'll be learning something called as placentation, right? Placentation is very simple again, very simple, very easy to understand placentation. And once placentation is over, the chapter is almost over. The chapter is almost over. Okay. Now, students, a particular gynoecium. See, students, all of you know the difference now. All of you know the difference between something called as pistil, carpel, gynoecium, ovary, ovule. This basic difference every single botanist should know, and all of your plants. So you should know what is the difference between gynoecium, pistil, carpel, ovule, and ovary. Now, if you see here, students, this is called as a carpel here. It's called as carpel here. Do you see multiple carpels here? Yes, sir, we see multiple carpels here. So, can I call it multicarpellary ovary? Yes, I can call it multicarpellary ovary. And if you look at one single carpel, students, if you look at a single carpel, it has three main parts. A single carpel has three main parts, such as your stigma, style, and ovary. Stigma, style, and ovary are the three different parts of a carpel. All the plants, listen. You have stigma, style, and ovary. We have the three different parts of a carpel. And all of you know what is a pistil, obviously. Right? So when many pistils come together, we end up getting what? When many pistils come together, we end up getting the gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower, and it is made up of one or more carpels. See, a carpel can be one or many. One or many carpels is called as a pistil. Right? A carpel consists of three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Ovary is the enlarged basal part in which ovules are present. Yes, on which lies along a tube like called as style. Students, what is the function of a style? Can anyone tell me? If you have understood the chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plants, what is the main function? What is the main function of a style? Can anyone tell me? Now you will tell me, sir, style's main function is nothing but holding the gynoecium, holding the stigma. But apart from that, if you know, through the style, one small tube runs. All of you know that. Through the entire style, there is a small tube, and tube is called as pollen tube. And pollen tube has the male gametes. Yes, two male germ cells. The two male germ cells. Yes. So transportation or development of the pollen tube through the style. Okay. Which is receptive surface of the pollen grains. Each ovary bears one or more ovules attached to a flat cushion-like placenta. See the diagram. If you look at the diagram, see here. This is called as, entire thing is called as ovary. Inside the ovary, students, inside the ovary, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 1 to many ovules. If single ovule is there, single ovule. Multi-ovule, many ovules can be there. Many ovules are attached to the cushion-like structure called as placenta. So this is the placenta. On the placenta, we have many ovules are attached. Now, if you look here, there is a chamber here. This entire chamber or the cavity is called as locule. Locule is the cavity, and inside the cavity we have the ovules. If the locule is one, if there is a single locule, you can see a single locule here. If the locule is only one, it is called as unilocular. Now, students, if you have ever tried to cut lady's finger, have you seen inside the lady's finger? inside the lady's finger, you will see small, many ovules you will see. Yes, sir, we will see many ovules. But have you also noticed that each ovule will be in a separate chamber like this? Have you noticed that? Each ovule will be in a separate chamber. That is called as multilocular condition. Multiple chambers that time. Here, a single chamber, unilocular, or it can be multilocular. Based on the number of chambers, locules can be decided. Yes. Locules can be decided. Okay. See, in lady's finger, ovule is transformed to seed there. Ovule has become seed there. Ovule has become seed, and that is the entire fruit. Just for you to understand, I am telling. Okay. Ovule has been converted to fruit there. So seed. Okay. Now, students, can you see here? All the carpels are free here. Carpels are not joined. Can you see here? Carpels are completely free here. In the case of lotus, even in the case of rose, can you see all the carpels are free? Yes, all the carpels are free here. Carpels are free. Apocarpus. And if you look at in the case of your tomato, or in the case of your mustard, can you see all the gynoecium or all the carpels are fused? When the carpels are fused, it is called as syncarpus. Carpels are free, apocarpus. Carpels are free, apocarpus, syncarpus. Syn, apo. Simple. When more than one carpel is present, they may be free. In the case of lotus or rose, apocarpus. They may be termed as syncarpus when they are fused together, mustard and tomato. Students, examples I am telling you. Examples are the key here. Examples are the key. If you don't remember the examples, this chapter is going to be a nightmare for you. So please, students, learn the examples. Nothing can be the greater advice. That should be the greatest advice I can give you. Learn the examples at any cost. So what you need to do for this chapter, right? Morphology chapter. Make a big sheet. You know this A3 sheet. How many of you know the A3 sheet? A3 sheet. What you need to do is, in A3 sheet, make a complete mind map. Try to make a complete mind map in A3 sheet. Now, once you make the mind map in a A3 sheet, right, then you can take every single part of the example, concept and write the example there. Students, how many of you know on our channel itself, students? How many of you are aware on our channel itself we have done the mind maps? Some of you might have not watched it, would have skipped all that, but on our channel itself we have done the mind maps. How many of you know that? Students, how many of you have seen the mind maps on our channel only? If you have not seen, let me show you. Students, how many of you have seen this? How many of you have watched this, students? How many of you watched this? Can you see the mind map behind me? Like here I have kept the quality low, or the high. It's not very visible here. But if you look at this video right here, the entire chapter I have explained in 20 minutes. Entire chapter in 20 minutes. Can you see here? And it has well been edited also. Every single time I will explain a concept, there is a example also is coming. See, example for the modification. Now, if you go for today's concept will be somewhere here, right? Today's concept will be somewhere here, where I am explaining something called as epigynous, hypogynous, or perigynous, or something, right? You will notice every single time you will get an example there. So I want everyone to make a similar video. I want everyone to make a complete A4 sheet. In that A4 sheet, I want you to write down like this. All of you should write down. Okay. Here, mustard and argemone. This is all the placentation which we will be studying right now. See, basil, we will be studying all this right now. So when you do such a thing, right, this chapter becomes very easy for you, right? This chapter becomes very easy for you to understand and study. Unless you do a mind map and you remember every single example, then only this chapter you will truly master. Unless you know the examples, it's going to be a waste. Okay? So, and I can only teach you to some extent. It is your effort, your hard work will help you to remember the examples. Okay? Awesome. Now, after fertilization, the ovules develop into seed, all of you know that, and ovary will develop into a fruit. Ovary will develop into a complete fruit. Now, see here. Now, students, I will be teaching you something called as placentation now. Ready? Now, I will be teaching you something called as placentation. Ready? Ready for placentation? Very simple. Again, I will be telling you a lot of tricks for placentation also. Lot of tricks for placentation also. One second. And students, you should know by now on this channel, right? All of you should be aware. We are teaching in multiple channels. Some of you know that. We are teaching in multiple channels and we're taking paid batches on YouTube on the same day. We start our classes, we personally, all of the teachers here on the channel, we start teaching at morning 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. we take classes here. It could be paid batch. I could have told, right? I could have told today to my manager telling that I have done my paid batch today and I'll be very happy. YouTube I will take later on. I could have had that attitude, right? I could have had that attitude, but we are not doing that. We are not doing that. We make sure that, you know, it should be very fair to everyone. Some students cannot afford and it is very understandable, right? So for that very reason, we make sure that whatever happens, we will stand on the YouTube for 3 long hours and we will not do any compromise on the quality, and we will show that even on the YouTube we will teach until our heart's content. That's why I am teaching you all this every step by step. Okay. Now, placentation again, very simple students, very simple. What is placentation? Placentation is nothing but arrangement of ovules. Inside, if you see, arrangement of ovules within the ovary, arrangement of ovules within the ovary on the placenta. See, this is placenta, right? This is placenta right here. This is placenta right here. So, arrangement of ovules within the ovary on the placenta is called as placentation. It is called as placentation, right? See here. Arrangement of ovules within the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation are of different types, namely marginal placentation here. Marginal, axial, parietal, free central and basal placentation. As well as basal placentation. Now students, concept is very easy to understand. Honestly, the concept is again very easy to understand. If I teach you once, you will remember it throughout. If I teach you one time, you will remember it throughout. But what is the most important thing here, students? Tell me. The most important thing here right here is again remembering the examples. Again remembering the examples. Now students, some of you might be wondering, sir, how will I remember the examples? Is there a trick? Is there an easy method to remember this? Students, again, if you go to our channel, under short section if you go, I have made complete shorts for remembering the placentation in 1 minute. Entire placentation. Remembering the entire aestivation in 1 minute. Remembering the zygomorphic, actinomorphic and asymmetrical in 1 minute. So when you want to remember all of this, right, you don't have to come to the entire video and watch again. You can just go to the short section and find all those videos there also. Right. So understand again, we'll start now. Marginal placentation. What is happening in marginal placentation? Right. Arrangement of ovules within the ovary, all of you, that is placentation. Now here what is happening in a marginal placentation is that all the ovules are arranged on the one side or towards the margin. Towards the margin, especially the ventral suture. See, this is called as ventral suture. Ventral suture. So all the ovules are arranged on the ventral suture side. This is called as ventral suture. The outside is called as a dorsal suture. So if you take a pod, if you take a pea pod, the inner part is called as ventral suture. Outside part is called as dorsal. So this pod will open like this. Inside is called as ventral suture. So on the ventral suture, all the ovules are attached on the placenta. On the placenta. Now students, example, how do you remember? How do you remember the example for this one? Example is very simple. MP. M for marginal. M for marginal and P for pea plant. MP is the small trick here. MP. Okay. It doesn't look like a mouth, it looks like a stomata for me. I don't know why. Doesn't it look like a stomata? It looks like a stomata actually, rather than this thing. The next one is parietal placentation. Understand, students, understand parietal placentation. In the case of parietal placentation, parietal means periphery. Remember like this. Remember like this, students. Parietal or periphery. Now, what is the meaning of periphery? Tell me, students. Parietal and periphery. Periphery means towards the outside. Periphery means on the outside. Periphery. So, if you look at the diagram of parietal placentation, you will see all the ovules attached on the periphery. Can you see? All the ovules are attached on the peripheral wall. Peripheral wall. Okay, peripheral wall. That is called as parietal placentation. Now, students, it doesn't it look like unilocular here? Doesn't it look like unilocular right now? Unilocular? Yes, it looks like unilocular. So sometimes what happens is, in the case of mustard plants, in the mature stages, this unilocular can become bilocular also. That is called as formation of false septum, called as replum. So there can be formation of replum here. Replum. R-E-P-L-U-M. Replum. That is called as a false septum can form here. A false septum. False septum can be formed here in the later stages, making it bilocular. Making it bilocular. Okay. Now, what is the trick here? What is the trick here? For parietal placentation. Parietal placentation is parents are masters. Parents are masters. P for parietal placentation, P for parietal, A for argemone, A for argemone, M for mustard, M for mustard. Parents are masters. Parents are masters. Okay. Parents are masters is the simple trick here for parietal placentation. Now look at axial placentation. First of all, tell me how many locule is here? How many locule? You will tell me, sir, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes what happens, if you look at the lemon, students, tell me how many locules? 1, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, multiple locule. So in the case of your axial placentation, you can have multilocular condition, and you have multiple septa formation. Can you see? Multiple septa formation. So that is the trick to remember axial. Axial means multiple locule. Multiple septa formation should come to your mind. Axial, multiple septa formation. Okay, multiple septa formation. The trick here is very simple. The trick here is something called as allow China to leave. Allow China to leave. What is A? A is axial placentation, C is China rose, T is tomato, and L is lemon. Lemon or lemon, right? Lemon. Allow China to leave from India. Okay. Allow China to leave. Allow China to leave. Okay. Ovules attached to multilocular ovary here. Multilocular ovary, and all the ovules are towards the center. All the ovules are towards the center here. Now, can you see here? In the case of your tomato, you can see it very clearly. In the case of tomato, you can see very clearly. Can you see here? Multiple locules. Multiple locules. All the seeds in this case here, seeds are towards the placenta in the center. This is the central part. All the seeds are towards the center. So it means that all the ovules were also towards the center. Okay. Middle part is the placenta. Middle part is the placenta. Okay. Next one is free central. Very simple. Argemone photo, I didn't bring it today. I didn't bring the photo of argemone. Next time I'll bring it. Okay, I'll show you argemone. Argemone looks like one. If you look at argemone fruit, okay, it looks like one brown color thing. It has this brown color thing it has, and it looks like multilocular condition. Okay, I don't have the image, but I'll show you next time. No. Free central. Ovules are born in the central axis with no septa. So difference between free central and axial is that in axial the septa, remove the septa, you get your free central. You get the free central. Okay, you get the free central. That is Fredo change dp. What is dp? F is free central. Free central. D is going to be dianthus. P is going to be primrose. Okay. You can see here, towards the center, all the ovules are attached towards the center here, towards the center. Now, last one is called as your basal placentation. A single large ovule will be towards the base. See here, you can see here. Single large ovule towards the base. Can you see here? Basal placentation. Single large ovule at the base here. That is basal placentation. That is basal placentation at the base of the ovary. That is birds migrate south. Migrate south. M is for marigold. S is for sunflower, and B is for basal placentation. Okay, basal placentation. Birds migrate south. See what, have you missed any point? Okay. In marginal placentation, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral suture. You saw the ventral suture? Along the ventral suture, they form a ridge of the ovary, and ovules are born on this ridge, forming 2 rows in a P. 2 rows in a P. This is the ventral suture, 2 rows in a P. P's are arranged in 2 rows here. Row 1, and row 2. Okay. When the placenta in axial and the ovules are attached to it in multilocular ovary, the placentation is said to be axial placentation. So remember students, axial placentation, always you should come to your mind multiple locules. Here, multiple locules. Axial placentation, multiple locules. Lemon should come to your mind. Always axial, lemon should come to your mind. Okay. Next. That is allow China to leave, right? China rose, tomato, lemon. In parietal placentation, ovules develop on a inner wall of the ovary. See, what is the meaning of peripheral or parietal? Parietal or periphery means what? Every single ovule is on the periphery, on the outside. Right? In the inner wall of the ovary or the peripheral part. See, peripheral part means the outside surroundings, outside. Okay. Ovary is in one chamber but becomes 2 chamber. I told you here. Initially it is unilocular. Here. Initially it is unilocular, then it becomes bilocular. Why? Because of the formation of false septum. Here. Can you see here? Ovary is 1 chamber, unilocular, but it becomes 2 chamber due to the formation of false septum. The false septum is called as rhapellum. Okay. Example is mustard and argemone. When ovules are born on central axis and septa are absent. Students, in the case of free central is basically axial placentation. If you remove all the septa, axial placentation, right? In axial placentation, multilocular, right? If you remove all the septa, remove one by one every septa, it becomes free central, okay? And septa are absent. In dianthus and primrose, the placentation is free central. Last one is basal placentation. The placenta develops at the base of the ovary and single ovule. I told you, a single ovule, very important line. Single ovule is attached to it, as in marigold and sunflower. Marigold and sunflower. So this is your, I'll tell you characteristics. Students, I will tell you characteristics of each one of them. Listen very carefully. Listen very carefully, okay? First one is marginal. What is the character here? Marginal characteristics is what? All the ovules are arranged on the ventral suture in 2 rows. Ventral suture in 2 rows. Done. For parietal placentation, all the ovules are arranged on the periphery. All the ovules are arranged on the periphery. And second point is formation of false septum, repulum. Okay. Axial placentation. The character for axial placentation is what? Multiple chamber, multiple locule. Now, if I remove all this, if I remove all the locules, what do we get? We get free central. We get free central. Same thing, free central. Now, free central is done. Now, what if I make this free central towards the end, towards this base, and a single ovule? That is called as basal. In basal placentation, a single ovule towards the base. Introvert, basically. Introvert. Introvert is towards the end. Aram se it is sitting in the one corner at base. Okay, single ovule. So that is called as placentation. Placentation. Oh, this I think you can tell this easily. Time starts now. Go. Time starts now. How many questions are there? Oh, very less. Few topics are left. That's all. Tell the answer. What is the answer? So all of you know rose, students. All of you know rose. People pluck pink roses. People pluck pink roses. Right? So perigynous condition. A is 2. So these two are gone. These two are gone. P. P is showing marginal placentation, we just saw. B is 4. Cotton is twisted aestivation. All of you know. That is, a lady from China has a twisted cotton. Mango is a droop. Mango is a droop. No, students. Now, that is the end of gynoecium. That is the end of gynoecium. Now, students, can we start with the fruit now? Fruit and seed, 2 topics, you are done. Students, this is the perfect NCERT revision for all of you. Perfect NCERT revision for all of you. Students, have you told Diksha sir in front of Diksha ma'am? What was her reaction? No. Fruit. Tell me, students, I'll ask all of you a simple question. Ovary develops into a fruit. True or false? Ovary develops into a fruit. True or false? Quickly. Obviously, ovary develops into a fruit. Ovule becomes a seed. Ovule becomes a seed and ovary becomes a fruit. Right? A fruit is a character feature of the flowering plants. Tell me, students, is there a formation of fruit in the case of gymnosperms? Tell me, students, is there a formation of fruit in the case of gymnosperms? Yes or no? If you have studied the plant kingdom from me, you can answer the question why also. Why? Why? Why is there no formation of fruit in the case of gymnosperms? Why don't gymnosperms form fruit and only angiosperms are forming the fruit? Why? Tell me. Why? Because, students, when I was teaching you something called as life cycle of the gymnosperms, we saw there was no ovary. in the case of your life cycle of gymnosperms, there were integuments. Integuments were there, but there was no ovary. Since ovary was absent in the case of gymnosperms, there are no fruit formation in the case of gymnosperms, and only seed formation in the case of gymnosperms. Okay, seed formation in the case of gymnosperms. That is the actual answer. That is the actual answer. Similarly, there was a question: why can't pteridophytes form seed? Anyone tell me, why can't pteridophytes form the seed? See, the answer is very simple again. In the case of pteridophytes, there was something missing. The missing element was integuments. In the case of pteridophytes, integuments were absent. And if integuments are absent, you cannot form the seed coat. If there is no seed coat, seed is not there. Understanding? So if you do not understand all that, I am thinking to start plant kingdom after living world. Okay, so after living world, let's do plant kingdom one more time, and I hope all of you will understand plant kingdom better this time, and you can easily distinguish between what is the gymnosperm, what is the angiosperm, what is the pteridophyte, what is the bryophyte, and what is the algae. Each and every characteristic feature. Similarly, what is the difference between homospory and heterospory? What is the difference between liverwort and mosses? What is the difference between all of them? Okay, so we will do NCERT line by line for that. I think I've never done it. I think I've never done NCERT line by line for plant kingdom. We will do that. Okay, plant kingdom line by line NCERT. That will be really fun. That will be really fun to do. Okay. I was thinking living world. Let's scratch living world. Let's remove living world, and we will do plant kingdom. Okay. Now, a fruit is characterized feature of your flowering plants. It is an mature or ripened ovary. All of us know. When the ovary ripens, it becomes the fruit. Developed after fertilization. If a fruit is formed without fertilization, if a fruit is developed without fertilization, you will end up getting something like this. A fruit without fertilization is called as parthenocarpic fruit, and it will not have any seed. Tell me, isn't it fun to eat all this? No seed, only watermelon. Heaven, it is heaven. It is heaven. Okay. This one little seed is coming here and there, difficult to eat, but parthenocarpic fruit, amazing. No seed whatsoever. Okay. No seed whatsoever. Okay. Now, generally, fruit consists of fruit wall or pericarp. Students, see here. Fruit wall is called as pericarp. Fruit wall is called as pericarp. It is called as pericarp. And pericarp has three different layers, all of you. Three different layers. The outermost layer is called as what? Epicarp. Middle layer is called as mesocarp. And the inner layer is called as endocarp. Endocarp. Three different layers. Three different layers of the pericarp. That is fruit wall. Epicarp, mesocarp, as well as the endocarp. As well as the endocarp. Okay. Now students, now I will teach you something called as different types of fruits. Yes, we have different types of fruits. For example, we have something called as simple fruits, aggregates of fruits. Let's understand one by one all of them. Let's understand one by one all of them. For example, we have something called as true fruits. True fruits. Now, what is this true fruit, students? What is this? True fruits. True fruit is a fruit which develops from only from the ovary. It develops only from the ovary. That is called as a true fruit. Very truthful it is. Very truthful it is. Okay. Other one is called as false fruit. False fruit. What is a false fruit, students? False fruit develops from ovary plus other parts of the flower. Other parts of the flower. It could be like, thalamus. Thalamus can become a part of fruit. Apple. Apple is a false fruit, right? So false fruit, true fruit. The last one is parthenocarpic. All of you know parthenocarpic. Fruit developing without fertilization. Here, parthenocarpic. Parthenocarpic fruit. Fruit developing without fertilization. Parthenocarpic fruit. Now, apart from that, I want everyone to understand something called as simple fruit. What is a simple? What is the simple fruit and what is the aggregate fruit? What is the aggregate fruit and what is composite fruit? What is the composite fruit? Difference very simple. Difference very simple, students. Your simple fruit can be of two types. Simple fruit can be of two different types. Okay. A simple fruit developing from a single ovary or single carpel or developing from many carpel. Many carpel. Okay. Many carpel. Single carpels we have two types. Single carpel we have something called as dry fruit and fleshy fruit. Dry fruit, this dry fruit is not like your dry fruit is not like this thing. This kaju and badam and all. No. Not that is not the dry fruit. This dry fruit is different. Okay? Dry fruit and fleshy fruit. Fleshy fruit. What is the difference, students? What is the difference here? Understand. Your dry fruit, your fleshy fruit is differentiated into. In fleshy fruit, we have something called as epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. A fleshy fruit will have mesocarp, endocarp, as well as epicarp, right? And this is there in your syllabus. The drupe which you tell, right? Mango as well as coconut. They are a type of fleshy fruit. Dry fruit, no differentiation. There is no differentiation. No differentiation in the case of your dry fruit. Okay. And this is multicarpellary fruit. Multicarpellary fruit. Okay. Multicarpellary fruit. But this multicarpellary fruit will be usually syncarpous. Now aggregate of fruits, friends. Aggregate of fruits also is multicarpellary. But this is apocarpous. In nature. It is apocarpous in nature. Example, I'll tell you. Example is very simple for this. All of these are apocarpous fruit. Can you see here, students? Each individual one. Can you see? Each individual blob is a carpel here. Each one is a carpel. Each individual one is a fruit here. And each one is developing. From a carpel. That's why it's called as aggregate of fruit. It is called as aggregate of fruits. Each individual one is a carpel here. Okay, carpel here. That is called as a multicarpal. This is apocarpous condition. Then what is composite fruit, students? Composite fruit is very simple. Composite fruit will develop directly from a entire inflorescence. See here. See this. For example, this is a pineapple inflorescence. The entire inflorescence will become a fruit. Now here, understand this concept. Here, each one is developing from a flower. Each individual one in a pineapple is developing from a flower. So many flower, each one is a flower developing from a flower. Each one is developing from a flower here. Okay, that is pineapple fruit. Each one is developing from a flower. Okay, that is a fruit. And in NCERT students, in NCERT they have given you something called as, a fleshy fruit. They have given you a fleshy fruit, right? Fleshy fruit. Now tell me students, what is the features of a fleshy fruit? Fleshy fruit develops from a single carpel. Fleshy fruit, single carpel, right? Mango and coconut, the fruit is known as drupe. They develop from a monocarpellary, superior ovary, fleshy fruit, and are one-seeded. Okay, they are one-seeded. That is very important to understand. It is monocarpellary, superior ovary. A question can come here. Drupe is the example of mango and coconut. And what are the characteristics? They can ask you. Write down. Drupe it is developing from a monocarpellary, superior ovary, superior ovary. Okay. What about the endocarp here, students? When you eat mango, do you eat the endocarp also? The seed is there, right? One-seeded, stony endocarp. The endocarp is stony. You can't eat the endocarp. It's like one stone it is. You can't eat the endocarp. Unless you're very hungry, eat that also. Okay. They have very stony endocarp. Okay. Stony endocarp. Now, what about the mesocarp? Mesocarp is very edible. Nicely you can eat the mesocarp. Okay. Mesocarp is two types here again. In one case it is edible. Mesocarp is edible. Okay. It's edible and it's fleshy. Mesocarp is fleshy. Nice, you can eat the mesocarp. Okay, fleshy. But in some case, mesocarp is like fiber. When it is fleshy, right? Example is mango. When it is fibrous, example is coconut. Okay. Coconut. So monocarpellary, superior ovary, one-seeded, stony endocarp. Mesocarp is fleshy in the case of mango, fibrous in the case of coconut. So, and what you eat here? What you eat in mango is right here, students. What you eat in mango is right here. Can you see? Here. Epicarp is the outer skin. Which you, that also you eat, but you throw sometimes. When you eating mango, you don't eat the epicarp, the outer skin. Mesocarp, fleshy and edible mesocarp. Endocarp is stony, inner stony endocarp, which you don't eat. Now inside the endocarp, what do we have? We have the embryo, endosperm, and seed coat. This is the entire pericarp. In pericarp, mesocarp is eaten by us. Okay. Now you might ask me, sir, Madhumiti, endocarp is not edible. Also in the case of coconut. In the coconut, what you are eating, right? That is endosperm. You are not eating the endocarp. You are eating the endosperm, not the endocarp. Endocarp is what you say. Have you seen that when you scrape all the, when you're drinking coconut water, you will say, cut the coconut and give me. Once you cut the coconut and you eat everything, that wooden part is left inside, right? That is the endocarp there. In the case of coconut, that is the endocarp. I don't have an image for it. when you cut the coconut and you eat all the malai nicely, the remaining part is there, right? That is the endocarp, which you can't eat. Okay, what you eat is the endosperm, and there are two types of endosperm: free nuclear as well as cellular endosperm. Okay, one you drink, one you eat, both of them. Okay, now students, can we start the last part of this chapter now? Can we start, students? Can we start? Can we start, students? A malai. Malai means that white, so tasty it is known. And trust me, students, than the liquid water, the malai only is more tasty. Right? The cream will be so nice, tasty, soft. Unless the coconut is very old and the endosperm becomes very thick. In that case, it is very difficult to eat. Okay. So now we'll start the last part of the chapter, right? We'll start the last part of the chapter, that is going to be the seed. Now tell me, students, seed develops from, all of you know, seed develops from where? Seed develops from a ovule. Ovule will become a seed. Ovule will become a seed. Ovule after fertilization develops into a seed. A seed is made up of seed coat and an embryo. Seed coat and an embryo, very important. If you see here, students, if you look at a particular seed, you can see it is made up of seed coat on the outside, seed coat on the outside, and on the inside it has embryo. So every single seed will have the seed coat on the outside, which is again divided into testa and tegmen, and it also has the embryo in the middle, embryo, which has something called plumule, which develops into shoot. It has radicle, which develops into root. Clear, all of you? Clear? No. The embryo is made up of radicle and embryonal axis, as one in the case of wheat and maize, and two cotyledon in the case of gram and pea. So two cotyledon is called as a dicot, single cotyledon is called as monocot. See here, friends. This is called as dicotyledon. There are two cotyledons here. Can you see here? There are two cotyledons here. In the case of your dicot, there are two cotyledons which you eat nicely. You're eating, no, this dal, rajma, all that. All these dicots which you eat. And this chana, chole, you're eating the chole. In this, what you're eating right now is cotyledon. You are not eating the endosperm. Be very careful. Because endosperm is consumed here, students. Endosperm is almost consumed here. So you eat the cotyledons. And you might have seen the small part coming out. That is the radical coming out. So what you're eating in chana and everything is the endosperm is not there. You're eating the cotyledon. You're eating dicotyledon, two cotyledons. Okay. The outermost covering of the seed is called as seed coat. The seed coat has two parts. Outer part is called as testa. The inner part is called as tegmen. Testa and tegmen. Can you see here? Outer part is called as testa. Inner part is called as tegmen. Seed coat. Double layer. Extra protection. The hilum is a scar on the seed coat through which developing seed were attached to the fruit. For example, students, if you see here, there is a scar called as hilum. Now, this seed is technically inside a fruit sometime. It will be inside a fruit. And this seed has to attach to the fruit wall. The point of attachment of seed to the fruit, the point of attachment is called as hilum. So hilum is a part in the seed through which a seed is attaching to a fruit. The point of attachment is called as hilum. Okay. Then you might see there is something called as micropyle, small opening called as micropyle. Micropyle is a small opening through which water can enter inside. Okay. And above the hilum is a small pore called as micropyle. Within the seed coat is the embryo. So inside we have the embryo also. Embryo is inside. Embryo is present on the inside. Okay. This is the embryo. On the inside we have the embryo. This is the embryonal axis. Embryonal axis. Embryonal axis will have what? Embryonal axis will have your plumule radical. Plumule and radical. The two cotyledons. The cotyledons are often fleshy and full of reserved food material. That is the yummy chola you get. Chola you eat. At the two ends of the embryonal axis are present the radicle and the plumule. Radicle on down, plumule on top. Okay. In some seeds such as castor, the endosperm formed as a result of double fertilization is a food storing tissue and called endospermic seeds. So if the endosperm is present, it is called as endospermic seeds. Okay. In plants such as bean, gram and pea, which all of you eat, okay, the endosperm is not present. So technically you are not eating the endosperm. In the case of most of the dicots, what you are eating is what? Cotyledon. Because endosperm is completely consumed here. Endosperm is completely consumed. So technically you are eating the cotyledons. Cotyledon. Okay. Immature seed. And such seeds are called as non-endospermic or X-albuminous. X-albuminous seeds. Okay. This one, see chole. This is called as cotyledon which you are eating. This is the radicle, down is the plumule. Okay, nicely you eat it. And sometimes you might have seen, right students, this chole is there, no? You can remove the outer skin, have you seen that? This chole is there, right? Sometimes have you tried opening the outer skin? Outer skin can open up. The outer skin which is opening up, that is the seed coat. That is the seed coat. Seed coat. The chole outer covering is the seed coat. Okay. Now we'll understand the structure of monocot. Monocot is very simple. Monocot, I'll show you a diagram and I'll see this diagram. This is a typical monocot seed. Monocot seed. Now what is happening in monocot seed is very simple, right? The seed coat, right? The seed coat gets completely attached to the fruit wall. See, in the case of dicot, fruit wall and seed, they were separate little bit. Only the point of attachment was hilum. But in the case of monocot, you cannot tell where the seed coat is, where is the seed coat and where is the fruit wall. Fruit wall and seed coat, both of them attach. Fruit wall, seed coat, attach. See here. Generally, monocot seeds are endospermic. They have endosperm. But some, as in orchids, are non-endospermic. So very important again, orchids are non-endospermic. Even though they are monocot, non-endospermic. Okay. In the seeds of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the fruit wall. See here, you cannot tell which is the fruit wall and which is the seed coat because both are joined together. Okay. The endosperm is bulky and store food. So in the case of monocot, students, in the case of monocot, you are eating the endosperm. Monocot, endosperm. Dicot, cotyledon you are eating, cotyledon mainly. The outer covering of the endosperm separates the embryo from the by a proteinaceous layer. Understand this diagram, you understand. If you look at this diagram, students, if you look at this diagram right here, here is the endosperm. Here is the endosperm. And you can see here, seed coat and fruit wall. They have written it together. Why? Because you can't tell which is the seed coat, which is the fruit wall. Both are joined together. Okay. Now if you see here, seed coat, endosperm is separated from the scutellum. Endosperm is separate from the scutellum. Now you might ask me, sir, what is the scutellum, sir? What is the scutellum? Scutellum is nothing but the cotyledon. All of you know it's called as monocot. It is called as monocot. It means a single cotyledon is present. A single cotyledon. The single cotyledon is called as scutellum. This is the cotyledon. The single cotyledon is called as scutellum. So the cotyledon is separated. Cotyledon is separated from the endosperm by a protein layer. Can you see this protein layer? This protein layer is called as aileron layer. Aileron layer. It is called as aileron layer. Now if you look at the embryonal axis, this is the embryonal axis. Can you see here? This is called as embryonal axis. Embryonal axis. In this embryonal axis, we have the plumule, which will develop into the shoot. We have the radicle, which will develop into root. Now, students, I'll tell you a small trick. Remember, small trick. P for plumule, coleoptile has P in it. Coleoptile, PP. Okay. Radical has coleorhiza, R. R is there, Z is there. Okay, so R. Why I'm clicking on Z? Coleorhiza, R is there in radical. So radical, coleorhiza, R. Coleoptile, P is there. And plumule, coleoptile. Radical, coleorhiza, R is there. So your radical is covered by coleorhiza. Plumule is covered by coleoptile. It has a outer covering. It has a outer covering on top of it. Okay. Okay, understood the trick here. Trick is very simple. Radical is covered by coleorhiza. Plumule is covered by coleoptile. And single cotyledon is called as scutellum. Endosperm is separated by the scutellum by the separation layer is called as aileron layer. The outer covering of the endosperm and separates the embryo by a proteinaceous layer called as aileron layer. The embryo is small and situated in the grooves at the end of the endosperm. It consists of a one large shield shaped cotyledon called as scutellum. Scutellum is the cotyledon. As you can see here, students, in the diagram, the embryo is towards one corner. They are pushed towards the corner. Okay. A short axis with plumule and radical. The plumule and radical are enclosed by sheath which is called as coleoptile and coleorhiza. This is a beautiful orchids. Beautiful orchids which are non-endospermic seeds. With non-endospermic seeds. Very important to remember. Okay. Very important to remember. Non-endospermic seeds. Okay. Now you learned in dicot there is endosperm. In dicot endosperm is consumed. But there is some plants such as your sunflower, some members of Solanaceae, they will have endosperm. They will also have endosperm in the case of dicot. So usually dicots do not have any endosperm. Right? Endosperm is consumed. But there are certain examples. There are certain examples such as your castor. I think it was given somewhere. It was given, right? Exception is given somewhere. See, students, exception, understand exception. Your dicots usually has what? Dicots usually have their no endosperm. Endosperm is completely consumed. No endosperm. Dicots. Exception is what? Exception is castor here. Castor is an exception. Castor is an exception. Okay. Clear? It's an exception here under dicot. Similarly, under monocot. Monocot are what? Monocot are endospermic. Monocot are endospermic. What is the exception? Exception is orchids. Orchids are an exception. Orchids are non-endospermic. Okay. So understand the difference here. Understand the difference. So dicots are non-endospermic. Exception is castor. Monocots are endospermic. Exception is orchid. Solve this question, all of you. Solve this question. Identify the part of the seed from the given figure which is destined to form root when the seed germinates. Which will form the root here? Which will form the root? See, B is your plumule, coleoptile, C is going to be radical, and D is going to be coleorhiza. So what is the answer? Answer is very simple. Answer is very simple then. What's laugh? What is the answer then? Answer is, see, your D is the coleorhiza, students. D is coleorhiza. C is this one. So 2 is the answer. 2 is the answer. Simply spam gingerly oil. I don't know why. Okay. This should be C, not D. C is the answer. Okay. Tell the answer, students. Tell the answer. In cymose inflorescence, the flower, I think you saw the answer, no? All of you saw the answer, right? In the gap, all of you saw the answer in the gap. In the gap, all of you saw the answer, I feel. In cymose inflorescence, the flower are born in an acropetal succession. Correct statements. Correct statement. Cymose is acropetal? No. In 𝐤𝐤 flowers are actinomorphic? No. In a flower of cucumber, the margin of thalamus grows and encloses. It is epigynous condition. Not seen, right? Okay. See, na. Scam you did. Scam. Students, I'll tell you why it is wrong. I'll tell you at least. I'll tell you why it is wrong. See, it is supposed to be basipetal. It is supposed to be basipetal. So, one is gone. One is gone. 𝐤𝐤 is not actinomorphic. 𝐤𝐤 is zygomorphic. So, wrong statement. This is correct. Bracte reduced leaf are found at the base of the pedicel. Correct. Flowers are hypogynous in mustard. Yes. Hero must have brinjal. Hypogynous condition. Now you tell me. Now I will not show. Now I will not show. Tell the answer now properly. Sound check, sound check. Identify the correct feature of mango and coconut. In both, fruit is a drupe. Yes. Endocarp is edible in both. Friends, is endocarp edible? Tell me. Is endocarp edible or is endocarp stony? Stony endocarp. Mesocarp in coconut is fibrous. Mango is fleshy. In both, fruit develop from monocarpellary ovary. Yes. Only this statement is wrong. Why? Because endocarp is not edible. Endocarp is stony endocarp. Right? Coconut fruit is a easy question. Drupe. The morphological nature of the edible part of coconut is. Tell me, students. Morphological nature of the edible part of coconut. Is it cotyledon, endosperm, pericarp, periplasm, perisperm? Which one do you eat in case of coconut? In the case of coconut, you eat the endosperm. You eat the endosperm. I told you. Endosperm. Okay. Cotyledon of maize grain is called as. Cotyledon of maize. Maize is a monocot, large one. That is called as your scutellum. Large one. Single cotyledon. Scutellum. A wheat grain has an embryo with one large shield-shaped cotyledon known as. Same question, different format. Oh God. That is your scutellum. Again. Same question. Now students, I'll give you a homework question now. I'll give you a homework question. Okay. I want you to tell me the answer of, tell me the examples of, actinomorphic and epigynous condition in the comments. Chapter is over actually. Chapter is over. I will do the plant families later on. In the comment section, I want to tell me the examples of actinomorphic and marginal placentation. No, that is very easy. Actinomorphic and axial placentation. In the comments. Okay. So that is the end of today's class, and it was fun. I don't even know how the time went actually. 3.5 hours. I don't know how just went. So I enjoyed today's class, students. I hope you also enjoyed today's class. Even towards the end also, like, I don't know, I got really excited after towards the end. Because I love teaching the seed and fruit part. It is so fascinating to teach. Flower, all of you know. But many students ignore the fruit and seed part. So it becomes for me very interesting to teach all that. Right. So with that being said, students, I will scoot now to my house. And what you need to do? You need to do is type in the comment section, morphology of flowering plants done and dusted. Even though families is left, families I'll teach you later on. Done and dusted for this one. And answer in the comment section. And also let me know in the chat, let me know in the comment section about today's class. Because I enjoyed it. I hope you also enjoyed it. You learned something new things. And those of you who have not written NVSAT exam still, go find the link for NVSAT right now and fill the form and write NVSAT, because that has a lot of benefits for all of you. And thank you so much, students, and I will see you in the next class, and take care all of you.